Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat. We guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
All right, welcome to the Mr. E Crimecast, everyone. I am Mr. E. I am joined tonight with everybody. We've got Mrs. E back. We've also got Auntie. I'd like to welcome you all here. Welcome to everybody in the chat also. So we've got a huge group in here already. Oh, that's great. So appreciate you all joining us tonight. Let's see. Thank you to K-Mac and Lady Tit for Tat. If you enjoy our intro and outro music, you can thank her. She put that together for us. Yeah, the bad thing about us doing that little intro thing is you miss us dancing whenever that music's playing.
I know.
Backstage. I don't know. It just puts me in a good mood every time I hear it, actually. So great. A car guy, Purple World, Spicy Demure, who says this is the best chat. We appreciate that. And I really do agree with that, in all honesty. We've got probably the brightest group of any channel out there that I've seen. I mean, I'm always amazed at some of the ideas and theories and knowledge that you guys bring. So we really do appreciate that. I love. I don't always get to see the chat during the show, so when I always rewatch every single one, sometime over the next day or two, and I like to go back and see the chat and stuff that I missed. So we appreciate all of that. And our mods are awesome. Thank you to all of you. They're incredible researchers and a great help to us too. So we always appreciate the stuff that you and our members and subscribers and just folks out there are sending us. All of that is very helpful in us kind of keeping this thing going. Ginger for Ob says,
been a member for 1 month.
Thank you very much, Ginger for Ob. Ginger for Ob says, love the E family. Happy to be here. Crime Dogs great.
Oh. No, that's our emojis. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think everybody's glad to have you all back. And let's start if we can, Auntie. You've had, I don't know how many folks out there praying for you, but that you probably aren't even aware of, all over anytime I went in someone's chat to just kind of say hello while I was listening to various streams, everybody's just thinking of Auntie. How's her son doing? So if you wouldn't mind to give everybody an update on that, I think that would be great.
Well, I'll kind of explain what happened. My son was in Mexico. His brother-in-law was getting married, his wife's brother. And so they were there for a few days for a wedding and big family ceremony. It was a big deal. And because of the hurricane, they got their flights got canceled. So they had to extend their stay by a day. And so instead of getting to come home last Thursday, they stayed and had to stay an extra day. Well, that evening they were getting ready for dinner, and he was in his room at the resort, and he slipped and fell. You know how the resorts, a lot of those big resorts, they have marble floors. And so he slipped and fell, hit the back of his head, like right kind of the lower quadrant of his skull. And cracked it wide open. He ended up going into a grand mal seizure. His wife was in the shower. She comes out and sees him having a seizure. So in the process of calling EMTs to come and see him, I get a phone call. So of course I'm freaking out because I'm just like, I'm ready to drive to Miami because our Orlando airport was still closed, drive to Miami and go to Riviera Maya to where he was. And so anyway, long story short, he was taken to the hospital. He had about 8 stitches, huge incision, or, abrasion. I guess you would call it a wound. I mean, it was huge on the back.
gash.
Yes,
It was a huge gash. Yes. And so it was about 8 stitches. And they gave him a release to fly home the next day. So he flew home Friday. Well, he's not really feeling a whole lot better. So today he left work a little early and went back to the ER in the States here, where we live. And he, had them give him a look over. They reviewed the CAT scan from Mexico. We had all that digitally. So they reviewed it and, gave him some different medication to help with pain because he's in a lot of pain. He has some injuries on his hips, shoulders, and arm, probably due to the seizure and falling. But he is going to get his stitches out or to be looked at on Thursday. They think they'll take them out Thursday, and then he's following up with an orthopedist. So he is doing better as far as the pain goes. This evening, but it's been pretty scary. I was absolutely frantic, and we were getting ready to go live. So it was.
And I was on a boat, and you were calling me.
Yeah, and I called Mrs. E because she was on a cruise, and to see a lot of times cruise ships that sail the Caribbean, they know the hospitals. If they have to take their guests to a hospital, they know the best hospitals. But you want to tell how. You want to tell a little bit about how you got me the list of hospitals and where to go to, because there are good ones and there are bad ones in Mexico.
Well, I happened to make friends with a chiropractor on the ship, who had good friends in the area that he lived or that he was in, and they were able to send me all of the best hospitals to go to in Mexico. So
he was able to go to one of the
within
top
minutes.
ones.
So.
Yes. So that was really good. And so I'm feeling much better now that he's home, and he lives about 30 minutes from me. So I've been able to see him. They came over for dinner Sunday, and he's recovering. It's going to be a long recovery. The doctor did confirm he had a pretty good concussion. The doctor in Mexico said, "Oh, I didn't think he had a concussion," but the doctor here said absolutely he had a concussion, and he's got a lot of healing to do. So, it's been pretty scary, but we're glad that the worst part's over and he's close by. And if I need to help or whatever, I'm close by. So I feel much better, and I don't know how to thank you all for all your prayers and positive words and everything. I felt them, and I told my son about him, and he was really excited about getting all that love and prayers, because we know prayer works, and I really appreciate it, and we appreciate it. So thank you all, and just wanted to give you an update.
Yeah, it had to have been hundreds of people, if not more. It was everywhere. I was seeing that, and people messaging us, and in all social media, everybody was kind of have been concerned, and I was hearing it
Trooper's
everywhere.
mom said she's always had excellent care in Mexico, and actually, they did have excellent care at the hospital they went to. There was really no one there but them, and they got great care. I mean, he got all the care. And the doctor was fluent in English and Spanish, so they were very easily able to communicate. But he did get good care there, and they let him come home the next day, which was my big concern, is get back here so we can, make sure you're okay.
Yeah. Well, we haven't. I know we have not really talked a whole lot. I don't know if you two have been in touch much. So I don't know how much you've been kind of following everything that's been going on the last few days.
We have some new members, though.
Oh, we have new members.
We have to.
See. That's good. See, I'm sure I ignored half the super chats and new members last time. I don't know. I've tried to catch as many as we could.
I get on everybody's nerves, but I like to acknowledge everyone.
It's important to say thank you. We should always say thank you.
And welcome Laura Cobb, and also Graham. Graham joined to become a member. Thank you, Graham.
Thank you, Graham.
And then Forever Nikki. Oh, and thank you, Laura. And Forever Nikki says, welcome back, family. We love you guys. That's very sweet of you.
Thank you, Nikki's mom.
And she has been a member for 1 month. That's awesome. Thank you. And then I want to show our new crime dogs. They're welcome. Welcome. We appreciate you.
Crime dog's trying to get in the picture there.
I know. We've got a crime dog right here. Yeah, she's been
loving
Dad today.
That is for sure.
Oh my gosh, Ginger Girl just gifted 5 memberships.
Yay!
Well, thank you, Ginger Girl. Actually, you know what? That reminds me, I have 10 to give away.
Oh, we'll do it.
It's our monthly giveaway.
Yes, do it.
So let me go ahead and give those away real quick if I remember how to do it.
And I'll say hi to some people while you're doing that.
Okay. And Ginger Girl, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And we'll give Ginger Girl we'll give her a thank you. And we appreciate you. We appreciate your support. Thank you so much for gifting those memberships. And if you receive those memberships, please tell Ginger Girl thank you. All right. Well, you work on that and I'll work on this.
Okay. Tennessee nurse says she was afraid they wouldn't allow him to fly for a while with a concussion. I was too. And I guess that's why they didn't actually say that he had a concussion so he could fly. He did sleep that night. His wife did not sleep. She kept checking on him and making sure he had his medicine. And then they flew out the next afternoon and he did okay. He did sleep about 14 hours the first 2 nights. He was pretty tired. So it was nice that it was a weekend that he came home so he could rest. But he worked all a 9-hour day yesterday, but it really took a lot out of him. And
wow.
Today they could tell. They were like, you need to go home. You need to take care of yourself.
9 hours.
Yeah, he gets there at 9 and he doesn't get off till 6. So it's a long day.
I know we're not going to show the picture of that head injury, but wow, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I'd be out for 2 weeks.
We'd have to do a trigger warning because it's gory.
It's bad.
Yes.
It's really bad.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good incision.
It's probably worse looking in person than the picture we saw, I would guess.
Well, what I'm wondering is if the way it is his hairline going to grow back weird?
Yeah.
Is it going to be
almost just like a straight across that lower kind of region, almost dead center in the back of his head. But he had some bruising on his hip and his arm and shoulder. I mean, he really had a hard time after he had the seizure. He felt like he was going to throw up, but he never threw up. He just had that reflex of feeling sick at his stomach, and he's had that off and on ever since. And he's just worn out, and it was a lot. And I blame the hurricane because if the hurricane hadn't have been here, it wouldn't have kept the airport from being closed, and he had to fly into Orlando. So when he flew in, that airport was closed, so they had to wait an extra day to get into their airport.
Yeah, and incidentally, from my cruise ship, I got to see the hurricane, so that was fun. Yeah,
and feel it firsthand.
Oh, I felt it for days. I've never felt a ship rock like that before. So that was fun. But we steered around it, but you could see it in the distance because out in the ocean, you can see so far. So
yeah, some people are asking in the chat, but yeah, I think they did give him a concussion diagnosis when he got back to the States, right?
Yes, today they did. They actually did today when he went back to the ER. He was going to go just to an orthopedist today because I thought his arm was hurting. I was like, well, you've already done the ER and they pretty much given you everything there. And then his wife said, I think he needs to go to the emergency room and just get checked again. And I was like, do it. And you can never be too sure. And then they reviewed the CAT scan, and actually we had a QR code that they gave us on his paperwork that we could actually pull up each of the images they took in Mexico that's cool. Yeah, it was so cool. So I mean, it was a top-notch hospital, and he got great care in Mexico, but I'm just glad for him to be home. So if I have to go to the doctor with him, I will. He might be 28 years old, but he's still my baby. So
well, I would, I'd be there too if I could.
Yeah, and his wife's she's babied him to death and taking really good care of him. She's a good wife. She really has worked hard to make sure he's taking his medicine, getting rest, eating.
We'll have to give him an E name too, like the original E or something, or E-Man or something.
E-Man. That's what we used to call him. We called him E-Dog.
E-Dog. Okay, well there you go. E-Dog.
We called him E-Dog.
Nikki's mom, I'm so sorry to hear that. But she said her daughter had passed from a seizure.
Oh, that's it was. That's what scared me the most is when they called me. He was still having the seizure, and I was like absolutely freaking out because I was afraid something horrible was going to happen. And I just had all these visions of
Oh,
what can go
yeah.
wrong with the head
Yeah,
injury.
I've never heard you more upset in my life.
I know.
And, I've
Yeah,
known you.
I was
I've
pretty
known you
upset.
50. How old am I? 51 years.
Yes.
So I've never heard you more upset ever.
Well,
sure.
and the thing was, the first thing I did was call you because I thought she's going to know she can find the hospital because I couldn't. I was like too shook up, and I knew you would be able to find out.
I got it pretty quick.
Yes, within probably less than 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It was pretty fast.
Although the cruise line just completely shut me down. They were like, we don't want the liability. I'm sorry. And luckily I had a doctor right there with me.
So that's great. And it was a great hospital.
And it was the second on the list too.
Yes.
And then we also had another membership come in from Leanne. I was trying to find it so I could highlight it. Oh, there you go, Leanne. Welcome. We appreciate you. And if Auntie ever gets our trivia done, we'll do our next trivia.
We're gonna have to do two.
Working on that today.
We got to do two back to back.
Two because we're behind one.
It's 80s and 90s movie trivia, and I've tried to get a few movies that are like crime movies, but also just regular trivia for 80s and 90s movies. I've got almost 30 questions.
Okay, well, we need 30.
With the choice, you need 30. Is that how many?
30 is about right. That takes us about an hour and a half to do.
Yeah, I think that's
all right. Well, I've pretty much got that done.
Well, I will. Cool. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
I've got it in my notes. I've got it in my notes on the computer with the choices and everything.
Thank you, Leanne, for becoming a member.
Yes,
we appreciate you.
We appreciate you. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing all the nice comments. Thank you, guys. We're happy to be back. Yeah. Mr. E did an awesome job while we were gone, and I'm sure a lot of people probably just prefer it if we aren't here.
I feel for the people that do this solo. It's so much harder though because you've got to be continuous. You need
a monitor where you can really see the comments because it's hard for you on your computer screen.
Yeah, I get. It's hard. I don't know how people do it for like hours when it's just them.
Oh, Justin's here. Hi, Justin.
Hard. Yeah, this is what Justin does like every night. I don't know how you do it.
I mean,
it's tough
for
hours.
He does it for
I was
hours.
exhausted after an hour and a half.
It's definitely an art.
He is seamless. Yeah. So I don't see how he does. And he's got all the bells and whistles.
I was going to say, plus he's got 10 different things going on at the same time.
Yeah.
When I have one or two people up here, Mrs. E can kind of do her thing for a bit, and I can kind of regather my thoughts. And
that's why I haven't been talking so much lately because I just let you go and I handled this part. So, also, R. Taylor has been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much, R. Taylor. Please go get an MRI.
Oh, and can I say, since Justin's here, I saw you and Brittany the other night on, I think it was her show.
Yes.
Allegedly with Brittany J.
Stars.
And when you guys got into that thing about Seth, if you haven't seen the court TV, I don't know if we're going to get into that tonight or not.
I've got the clip.
We might get into the show. Are we going to do the show?
Yes.
We're going to do the court TV, right?
We have. Well, hopefully, if hindsight is okay with it, because hindsight's the only place we could find it.
Because court TV's pulled it down.
Yeah,
it looks like it
almost immediately.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else has a link, I cannot find it anywhere but hindsight.
I think it was it 2 nights ago? It wasn't last night.
It was the night after, I think.
They should just clip that out as a 5-minute video and put it up or something.
Funny.
They are watching. If you saw the court TV, there's a moment where Tony says crystal clear at the beginning of his part, and Seth gives him that little side eye.
Oh, it's the best.
And Justin and Brittany are just dying laughing. They're playing it over.
It is contagious,
and it was absolutely hilarious. You guys it was fantastic. So,
it was so funny, you guys.
Yeah,
Kelsey said best face
if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know what the minute mark was or whatever, but that was hilarious.
And thank you, R. Taylor, for being here a month. And I think what R. Taylor was saying is that have E-Dog go get an MRI. But he did have one already, right?
He had a CAT scan, and the doctor didn't feel like he needed an MRI because of the results of the CAT scan. So I guess they'll just see if he has more complications. I mean, it's been since Thursday evening now, so I thought they might order.
So tickled.
I thought they might order it, but they didn't. So
I'll tell you, Justin, we were laughing right there with you on
Justin
that.
says I got
was
so
dying. I was dying. And it was really fun.
I watched it in real time laughing. Of course, he falls asleep about 9:03. And so I was watching it and I was laughing really hard. And so the next morning when we were having our coffee, I said, you need to watch something.
Beth Huxley says it's still on their site under another name.
I couldn't find it though.
I looked too. And
well, maybe.
Oh, wait. Aria says they did not take it down. If somebody wants to email me the link to the actual video, I'd rather use that. Okay. Justin's going to send it to me. Okay. You know what? Justin is the one person I didn't text and ask for it. Didn't even think about it. I figured you were going live and I didn't want to bother you.
Are you going to be showing your video?
No.
Why?
Because Mr. E thinks it would be bad for our brand.
It's so good.
Well, you've backboxed me into a corner there.
Well, if you don't, I mean, the final decision lies with you, Mr. E.
I mean, really set me up for that. I didn't even think this was still up for debate. I thought we decided we weren't doing it.
It was more for our entertainment.
I know you really want to.
It was more for our entertainment.
It's great.
Lady Tit for Tat is laughing because she knows she's seen
Lady Tit for Tat's seen it. It's not really what we do.
It's not appropriate, guys. I did something
It is fun. I mean, it's hilarious.
Something really inappropriate, and it's not our brand. So that's all I'm going to say.
Do we have an after dark that we can?
I know. You have to now.
I have to play it.
I mean, that's what everybody's saying. So you want to just do it? I know you're dying to do it anyway.
It's great.
We're gonna get raked over the coals.
Yes, so we'll pay for this with the hate channels.
Yes, we will.
But
no, let's not do it. I don't want to do it.
Okay.
I don't want to do it. Sorry to build it up. Oh, they're saying they need a good laugh.
It's really not that bad, actually.
Okay, here's the thing.
It's not
that bad.
Here's the thing. So I'll just show it. Just show it. I don't even care anymore.
I know.
We're never bad.
It's not even bad. It's just
bad.
funny.
It's not bad.
It's just not what we do.
It's just not our.
It's like our version of Saturday Night Live.
Okay, sure. All right, guys. Now, some of you guys are going to think this is not good.
Just do it.
I just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
You're in or you're out. So
okay, I'm in. All right, let me get it ready.
It is funny, so there's no doubt.
Also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
It's not?
Okay, there you go.
Nope, it went away.
Okay, well, Mystery told me it wasn't going, so I had to.
It was, but then you pulled it down.
Now I have to start it over. So, all right, let me add it to the stage.
Said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
So that was Mrs. E's project there that she was working on.
I'm going to play it one more time in case people missed.
Do it one more time. All right, yeah.
I hope Justin appreciates it.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
So I think it's gone over pretty well.
Okay, I'm going to remove it now.
Everybody's enjoyed it. Okay. I'll tell you, when we were sitting in the, because I was in the courtroom when he did that, he was on the stand, and when he said that machete thing, I was like, I can't believe he just did this, and it's almost like he was setting himself up for it. But man, that was.
K-Mac approves. It may not be too bad.
Okay.
K-Mac says it's comedy gold.
Kelsey said she's wheezing.
not what you expect from us, maybe.
I don't know if you guys are big fans. She was laughing
all afternoon with that.
If you guys are big fans of Friends,
give it to them one more time.
One more time.
It's the rule of three with comedy.
Okay. Okay. One more time.
Also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
That That look, man, that is something else. That is something else. Because in his mind, he's like that crystal clear thing.
Alicia Hot Wheels said she just shot water out of her nose.
Then that's success. Then
Okay.
if we brought some folks a little joy, then it's totally worth it for a little pushback we might get.
Well, the
Lady
flag,
tip for that. she said he's so emphatic with it too. Machete.
y'all,
it's just one of those things.
it's when you hear that. When I heard it, that's the first thing I thought of was
Yes.
karate.
Yes.
And so that's the first thing I heard of. So
Yeah.
and then that look with Seth, that Justin and Brittany got me laughing at that, and so I thought that would be funny to just to add in.
Oh my gosh.
So sorry, that is not our normal brand. I was just having a little fun.
Well, we all evolve. Maybe
Yes.
we're evolving, and it's not.
They said it's pure gold.
So
Car Guy says that needs to be shown at the next court date.
Seriously, off and on all day. You've been playing that. Just
I've
to
been
have to
playing.
laugh.
Okay, so I watched something sad earlier, and I played it like 5 times to make myself cheer up.
Yeah.
So, and it's really, it just made me think of karate.
I think everybody enjoyed it. It appears that they did. So
Okay, I'm sure.
But man, that's
it's
It's not
already-
that bad. It's just funny.
no, it's not. It's not that bad. So let me go over a little bit of what we're kind of planning tonight. I've got a few kind of just small,
K-Max says we need a true crime comedy channel.
on YouTube somewhere. Actually, I think if somebody did that, they'd probably be successful. I mean, you have to be careful, because it's true crime, and you have to be a little sensitive to certain situations.
Fiddle
but
DD says maybe it should be part of our brand. It's a good laugh.
Sure. Okay. Well, maybe you never know.
Well,
But
and the thing is with this too, there's not a lot to laugh about. There's not always a lot to laugh about.
we know we crossed the line when the lab's offended, right? That would be we've really stepped over, because if we've offended the lab, then I'm so sorry you're offended.
Well, and then this is, water just came out of my nose.
I think that's a trend.
I mean, that is a.
That's a good. You get the. Spit
I'm not
take.
putting that one up, but that one's hysterical.
Somebody said it's the head nod.
Sorry, y'all. I have a cold. I got a
It
cold on the
is.
cruise.
I mean, I'm telling you, I saw that thing live, and I was like, I could not believe what I just saw. I really couldn't.
Justin's rolling in the floor.
I could not believe it.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay,
Wist
sorry.
is asking when he said machete. It was at Bullhorn Betty's hearing
Yes, it
that
was.
I went to on Thursday, and he was on the stand.
explaining- Yeah, he was explaining.
And I don't guess the Court TV's never released that full thing yet, have they? He was up there maybe 10 or 15 minutes or something like that, I suppose. But that was him talking about Betty buying
Aw.
a machete, and
Well, welcome.
he's ruined.
Beth.
He's ruined that word for
See,
me.
look, the machete karate got us a new member.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, she
Welcome,
appreciated
Beth.
Aunt Mrs. E's humor there. So,
Welcome.
hi, Real Me Too. So she just got.
She missed it. Oh, I got to play it for her. Oh,
She was checking out the Lalani.
Lalani Simon.
trial.
Yeah, that's
So
a lot.
I've been following. Some of you guys should get caught up on that case. I was listening to, I think Don B was doing some on it, and somebody else was covering it.
Wait said that she's just dressing up as Bullhorn Betty for Halloween, and she's carrying a machete.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
We had thought about that. We
Oh,
thought
it's
about
Halloween.
dressing up as our favorite YouTubers for Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. You could. I mean, that'd be kind of fun, actually.
We could all switch places.
Yeah.
You could be Josh or Deception Detective. Oh, what am I thinking?
Yeah, I'd be a deception detective.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
have
of
the
course you
cap
would.
and the glasses, and always to the side.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. And we're going to do a little deception detective tonight too, is my plan.
I'm
Somebody
sorry.
said I can picture Mr.
Cut that
East face in
mullet.
the courtroom.
What?
Somebody said I can picture Mr. E's face in the courtroom when CP says machete.
I
I'm
seriously-
surprised he didn't laugh out loud.
That's when I did my worst note taking, was when he was talking, because I just couldn't, everything that he was saying, I could not believe what I was watching. I was basically like, my jaw was literally, I was like that, because I could not believe what he was doing. And then I became aware of it like 5 or 10 minutes into his testimony. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if the camera's on me. Just sitting there going, like, what am I seeing here? Because I just couldn't believe how wild, like how defensive and dodgy and semantic games and all that stuff that he does. I just didn't see that coming at all. So I was stunned.
Okay. Well, welcome to our new member, Misty Moon. We
Hi,
appreciate
Misty Moon.
you.
Thank you.
And welcome to the Crime Dogs.
And
let me see. I'm really far behind on the chat. I apologize.
well, I'm just going to kind of give you a little idea of the stuff we're going to get into.
Read the lab's comment, please.
We're going to talk a little bit about
I'm looking.
Most of tonight's going to be talking about Seth's, coming back kind of more public again. I mean, he's been in folks' chats and here and there, but really kind of stepping back up after everything that's happened. So we're going to talk about that with Court TV, and then also Josh was kind enough to let us. Oh wow!
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
People are sending Mrs. E some comedy ideas there. I think a little.
Oh my stars, you guys.
Yeah. Or are they talking about Josh the labs cut that mulete?
Yes, I think so. That's a funny line.
That was funny.
Yeah, so we're going to actually go over some the interview with that Josh had with the lab. He's very kind to let us use that. We just wanted to reach out to him to make sure that was going to be okay. If you're not familiar with the lab, I mean, they're fantastic. It's one of our go-tos, never miss kind of true crime streams out there. And so if you're not familiar with them, you definitely need to sub up to that. A few other things.
We've got some more gifted memberships and stuff. Sorry.
Okay.
Did you see, Karen said, did you see your email, Mrs. E?
Karen, that's what I was laughing at.
Yes.
That's what we were Karen.
People were
I'm
saying.
Laughing very hard at that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that email.
Mrs. E will go to work on that, I think, when she gets
we'll talk later about that.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes. Our was that K-Mac? Is that who that was?
No.
Karen.
It was Karen.
Oh, McIntyre. I got
no.
No?
Mm-mm.
Different Karen.
Yeah. I'm not going to say her last name.
Oh, okay.
Tanya Carr gifted a membership. Thank you so much for gifting a membership, Tanya. If you received a membership from Tanya Carr, please tell her thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then Pamela became a new member. If I can find it. Let's see. I see it up here, but I'm so far behind. Aw. Dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches member for 3 months. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
And Dreaming of blue skies. I've not been feeling too well, so I hope you're feeling better. But thank you for doing that, of course.
And here's Pamela. Pamela, thank you so much for becoming a member.
Wow, thank you, Pamela. This is man, you guys are great.
Welcome.
We appreciate the support that way. That's very kind.
Okay, we should probably get into it. We've been laughing for 30 minutes.
I know. So I thought tonight I'll just kind of start with a couple of little things that just kind of update kind of stuff. And we don't have a lot of great news with the Sebastian Rogers disappearance, of course, but once in a while we do. So I'm always happy to report that kind of thing. If you missed this, we had the $50,000 reward issued by the FBI, the 6-month anniversary, and then shortly after that, I Spy says, "Why am I craving spaghetti?" I don't know.
I've got a cough, and the laughing just hurts. Oh, Hindsight, I'm so happy you're here. Hindsight, we would like to use your Court TV video. Is that okay with you? Could you let us know in chat?
And if it's not,
that's fine.
That's okay.
We're not mad.
Just wanted to ask. So we were hoping you'd be in here tonight. So that's good. And of course, we're going to ask everyone to sub up to Hindsight 2002. Can we drop that link in the chat if you want to do that later?
I would ask K-Mac or Tip for Tat if they could find it for me. That would be wonderful.
So maybe we'll, if that's okay, then we'll do that here in a minute.
Oh, Clutch Them Pearls is looking for the link. Did Justin get to see? Justin, did you get to see my video?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Hindsight said, absolutely use anything you like.
Oh, Harley says spaghetti.
Well, if you're Hindsight is I don't know how long that channel's been here. I only discovered it maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But what they're doing with that channel is they're clipping together a lot of these interviews and things like that, and showing them in context of different topics. So like you know. And
Headstones and Headlines says it's on the Facebook page. Okay, thank you so much.
So it's a really good, that channel is a great resource if you're looking for
Clips.
their words and clip together. And sometimes it's like showing contradictions or various topics or things they've discussed. And if you're into like the research part of this with the commentary, like the interviews, it's absolute great channel for that. So definitely recommend subbing up to that. I just want to finish on the reward. So we had the $50,000 FBI reward. Then if you recall, Dog the Bounty Hunter added another 25,000, and At Night added an additional 25,000. So we were up to $100,000 basically in these total reward money. And then a couple of days ago on his X account, Dog upped that by another $25,000. So we are now at a potential, $125,000, depending on how things go with the search for Sebastian. So, that's great for a lot of reasons. Of course, that even just the action of doing that gets the word out more on Sebastian and keeps him forefront. So that's part of it. I think it's interesting, though. Do you think it's interesting that we haven't talked about this.
We didn't discuss it at all. Yeah.
Auntie, did you even know about this yet?
Yes.
That he had upped the reward?
Yes, the last couple of days I've been trying to catch up after the crazy weekend, but I did, and I think it could mean that they are getting really, really close, and they just need some more pieces, or a piece, or maybe they felt like it could be either that, or they just want to up it just a little bit more because they feel like just a little bit more is going to do the trick. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was wondering, because it's work. Like when because the lawyer has to write everything up again. So you're, because they have to back all that up, and so it's you don't just do that just out of, just to send out a tweet. So there must have been some reason. And it made me wonder if there's somebody they think's about to break.
Well, and a lot of people are thinking if this is coming just directly out of Dog's pocket. I assume that it's coming as part of the At Night, with the At Night investigations and the whole thing. What's your thoughts about where the money actually comes from?
I would guess it's whoever's backing At Night.
That's me too. People were like, I don't think a Dog's got a tax debt, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think it comes like directly from their pockets. I think it's money that they've generated from a benefactor that's like sponsoring
this. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody with some big pockets has been backing the whole thing. So I would guess that, Dog's going to be the point man for everything, involving the case. He's got his role, but if you want to make a big announcement, you let Dog make the announcement,
right?
Because he's got I think it's 600,000 or 700,000 followers on X alone, and so
right.
And you want the reward information out there, so use his platform to let him do it.
And I've heard some rumblings about people saying it's not real money, it's not this and that, it's not. But Mr. Lesniak kind of explained that on our show how that works. That. Right. Yeah.
The idea that this is not a real reward is crazy. So,
yeah.
Because you would have to think, not if somebody just, you would have to think that that Lesniak would put his whole career on the line for a fake reward,
for a couple $100,000 or for $100,000.
Because we a couple of months ago we had talked about. Once our channel got monetized, about a month or two into
try
it,
to do this.
We had said, well, maybe we could do, start a reward fund through our channel. And then after a little research into it, we realized just how
complicated it is.
There's a lot of pitfalls to it. So it's really complicated, and there's a lot of unforeseen issues you can get into. So I know that there's always been kind of this criticism of actually all the parents for not putting up a reward fund of some kind. But you can get into a lot of legal trouble with those. So like if you can imagine, let's say Sebastian's found one day, or, the case is solved or something like that. And what they say happens is you'll have these people come out of the woodwork saying, oh, well, I gave a tip that I thought he was somewhere in Tennessee. Where's my reward? you know, and they think their tip is the one that earned the reward, you know,
Right.
These kind of small little tidbits that really didn't result in anything. You know, and then you end up with lawsuits and all that kind of thing. So you can be out tens of thousands of dollars beyond the reward you put up because you've got these false claims coming in against you from people that, you know, in those kind of situations. And not only that, just all kinds of other pitfalls, just as far as like, you know, the fundraising aspect of it and everything else. So we're just like, okay, we're not going to get in that. We'll find another way to support others or something that are, you know, doing things like that. But anyway, so that I know that's a criticism they get, but there is a reason that people don't just always jump right to doing a reward fund, because there's a high degree of risk with them.
Well, and I think a lot of people just misconstrue where the reward money is coming from. I mean, they're not pulling it out of their banking account and say, "Hey, here's dog, here's my money for the reward." It's part of the whole at night, you know, the investigation, the money that's been put up. It's all through that. It's not just necessarily them coming up with this money and pledging it for
right, exactly. So anyway, that's great news. Do you have any thoughts on the?
Well, I wanted to point out that we got a super chat. No one's you to read it.
Senior Canine Mom, you guys are simply amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
That's very sweet. We appreciate you. I have to keep you on task with that stuff or you'll miss it.
For sure.
There, I'll give you some stars. Thank you. Senior K9 Mom. You know what? I was not reading it that way. It's awesome. Great name.
Oh, I'm guessing. So
no, that's right. You're right. I'm wrong.
I'm guessing Senior K9 Mom. I don't know.
Hey, Garrett. I hadn't seen you for a while, Garrett. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot of new people tonight that I don't recognize names and some of our old friends.
I see little Miss Sharon.
Some people hide in the bushes, they say, you know, and just come out.
Yeah, you know. We just appreciate all you all being here. And I guess we'll go ahead and keep going on with it. Let me pull down the dog thing.
Before we get into video stuff, I just wanted to mention one other kind of topic out there.
Okay.
One thing we had seen. I don't know how many of you have seen the recent Silvers on the Scene. But that was a must. So if at some point I would recommend checking out that latest one. If you're not familiar with him, I know Auntie's been watching for a while. He had been recommended to me a long time ago, and I just never checked it out until, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, when he had that story where he had a guy at Chris's construction site that was verifying that Chris was there on the job from 7 to 11 and had been asked to leave. And so that contradicted the story that the PI Chloe had, where she claimed to have had a source that he was there at 5:15. And if you know us, if you've been around us for a while, we kind of stay away from stories where there's only one anonymous source that we can't vet. And so typically that is not a story that we would have covered, except there were two other sources that have happened over the last 7 months of the story. And so it lined up with a Bullhorn Betty source that she had done back in the summer. And then there was also someone that had used their own face and name that was out there talking about this on Facebook back in March. So at that point, we felt pretty confident.
Welcome.
Hi, John Q.
And I think I saw Don B in here somewhere. I wanted to say hi to him.
He was here earlier. Yeah. So
he was here in the middle of all of our giggles. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been following him for a while.
I know you're a fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been a fan for a while, and I think at first he was getting his sea legs and trying to figure out what to do. But I can just tell he has a pure heart, and his main goal is to help find Sebastian and look for him. And I just love that he has really used a lot of logic behind where he's looked, and that he's reported things to TBI and FBI to make sure that the things that maybe he thought were unusual gets at least reported to someone. So I think he's done a lot of good work.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he was doing early on, because I just kind of knew he was doing searches, and I usually don't watch channels that do searches just because I just don't. That's just not my preference. But what the formats he's doing right now is great. Like he started out with a little bit of searching, then he kind of goes into his different leads and stories and different theories, and then some other stuff, and then it's really good. It was just a really well done. I like his format. I like the way he puts it all together. But anyway, so he had this source, and that's why that's why I checked him out. And anyway, I think he's doing great work, and he's very conscientious about not burning his source and that kind of thing, and which is good to see too. And so anyway, he's cultivated this relationship with a couple of these guys at the work site. And he was telling some of the details of those conversations. So it's all very interesting. And even though this person is still anonymous, this person has lined up with other true statements, it seems. So we can, when I talk about vetting a source, in my mind, I mean, is this source someone that's proven themselves thus far to be truthful, where we can hear the information from the source and at least factor it in as a possibility. That's the way I look at that.
I missed BJ Boop. Thank you for becoming a member. I just saw it. Thank you so much. I'm so behind, y'all.
Thank you, BJ Boop. We do appreciate that very much.
And did we get Debbie Dunn? Welcome, Debbie Dunn.
So. Thank you, Debbie Dunn. We appreciate you very much for that.
Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet to us. We appreciate you. Sorry.
So I'm going to recommend just listening to the whole thing. He had a lot of details from that conversation, those conversations with the source he's been working for a while. I think it even sounded like the source said he wouldn't mind his name being shared, but he said, "You know what? I'm going to keep this private.
Here for now.
There's no need to out you, and just keep him safe." And anyway, so I like Silver's approach for that, also to try to keep his source safe, because there are problems that have happened in this case. So I thought that was good. Say
something real quick.
Sure.
We have 577 likes. Thank you guys so much.
Wow.
That means a lot. That really means a lot. If we get to 1,000 though, I will play it again.
Hey, there you go. That could be our new celebration. If we get every time we get to 1,000 likes, you play the video. I
don't think we've gotten to 1,000.
We have
we?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, we did. We did maybe 2 or 3 streams ago, I think.
Oh,
and I think we've got
Max says, "Oh, please do."
I think we've got a lot of new people jumping on too that didn't get to see it. So,
oh boy.
Yes. So yeah, we'll do an encore if we get to 1,000.
We'll have a special video.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way.
What? We'll have to come up with some kind of meme.
I think you just play that video. You just play that video. That's reward enough to make people come in and hit a like, right?
Okay.
So he gave a little background, just kind of like on how the personality that Chris has.
That's so sweet.
I am too bare. Always good to see you. And Mr. E and Middley did great while you were gone, Mrs. E. You would have been proud.
That jumped it up to 644.
Wow.
You go, guys. All right. Awesome. Okay. Sorry.
So, yeah, you know what? And this is how distracted I was from the chat that night too. Mrs. E and Auntie were in the chat off and on all night long, and I had no idea.
Yes.
And then I guess you had because I didn't know till I went back and watched it. Was watching the chat, and Mrs. E was there off and on from the very beginning.
I'm not going to get through this show, y'all. I'm just not.
And anyway, so that's just how distracted I was from it. I don't know how people do those both at the same time.
It is hard.
So I guess there were a lot of things that Silver had to say with this source, and it's all worth listening to for sure. But the biggest thing was that according to this one source he has, who so far has been lining up with other things, and Silver to me seems like I don't have any red flags about Silver as a creator. My sense so far is that he's doing his work the correct way. So I don't doubt that part of it. But anyway, so according to the source he has, Chris was not at work. We're on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, leading up to Sebastian's disappearance.
That said a lot to me. I don't know if it did to you, but that they gave me whole new ideas for theories in my head.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a bombshell from him, in my mind. That would, if that ends up being true, I understand not coming home every weekend. I do. I mean, that's a long drive, and I'm sure it's a tough job. I'm sure it's a mentally exhausting job, because you've got to always be paying attention to what you're doing. And I'm sure he works some long hours. I can understand if he's like, man, I'm just not going home this weekend. Spend all night Friday driving, one day on Saturday, spend half my day back on Sunday driving back. I get that. But if he had a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off and didn't go home.
I mean, he could go home easily on Wednesday afternoon and come back Sunday afternoon and have a nice 3 days, full days at home.
Yeah. I would think.
I don't know.
I would think that would be really. You'd have to have a reason, a really good reason in my mind for that to be believable. And I don't know what that would be. And he, I mean, he has been saying that he hadn't been home since early February, but there were a couple of times when asked, I don't remember which interview it was, but a couple of times he'd been asked.
You see it too?
Yeah.
I can't put it on this screen.
Okay.
Look.
No, we can't do that.
But Serenity, we appreciate your call.
Yes, but always funny.
I was looking at Castle.
Oh, I haven't seen Castles. Okay, hold on.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong,
Y'all,
Garrett. Is it not hard? I don't know. Garrett says it's not hard. I don't know.
What's
I've never
not
worked
hard?
operating a crane. I mean, I think it's like one of those like the skyscraper type, right? Like the ones you see.
That's
I don't know.
thought.
Maybe it's not hard. I would just think because we've got these things around Nashville constantly. They're so huge. It would then the precision and the stress of it. One little mistake and people will lose their lives, or you destroy stuff. But maybe it's easy. I don't know.
Someone said that St. Jude does not work on the weekends. So
yeah. I don't know. On the construction project, probably not. But anyway, if he was home or not home, if he was off on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and didn't go home, there would have to be a reason. Or he went home and didn't tell people about it. Right. So I think that's very interesting that way. And somebody mentioned this in the chat. And that is actually another. We didn't talk about this, but it does actually line up with another story that only had an anonymous, unnamed source that we've never reported on.
You mean this one?
Because of the yes. So pull it up just because.
This one from Mohawk Mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't mean this happened. So we've never reported on the poker party.
We've discussed it in our fact or fiction, or we don't know.
Right. And right. So we never factor it in as a possible thing that occurred. But we're starting to get, we're very slowly starting to kind of sort through Chris's timeline that he's always been very dodgy about. There are a few things that he dodges more than his own involvement in anything. That's usually when he gets all like law enforcement told me not to talk kind of stuff. So if he was off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it is conceivable that he might have been in town, kind of hanging out at his mom's house, or
that could be a theory to explore.
And maybe was around. So it makes it possibly. I don't know. I don't think we're not reporting that as a fact, but I think it would be really good to know. Yeah. So I don't know how to say this. Kaya Gypsy Karma.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
Says I remember him saying on an interview not to give out dates. Yeah, he just would say early February, and then there was one where he said, "Well, he kind of dodged whether or not he had made a return visit."
And Justin says. So
Justin from Clutched and Pearls. If you don't know Justin from Clutched and Pearls, of course, most of you probably do, but he's got a great channel. And he's been doing a lot of Sebastian stuff, but lots of other true crime. He says, Chris said in an interview, "We are like any other working family. We work Monday through Friday." Ooh, I don't remember that one. I don't remember that.
I recall it. I don't know what interview it's from though.
Okay.
I recall it though.
But that doesn't mean that he wasn't off on a Thursday, Friday. I mean,
they may not have just needed the cranes those 2 days or something,
right.
So, but anyway, but You know what he could do? He could produce his time cards at some point, and just like Seth did, and put the information out there so we can start ruling him out of these situations. Maybe even have you do it through his attorney, just so that people will know that it's authentic and not something fabricated like Seth did, because he had two attorneys involved when he did his. Because if he had just put out the time cards, people would have been like, these are all. I think they actually said they were fake anyway. But if you, some people did. But if you have his attorney put it out there, and that might clear up some things. It would be something he could do, because I think we would all like to see if we can get as many alibis for as many people as possible, so we get closer to the truth.
Right.
I doubt, so I don't know. Some of you may know the family and could suggest that to him if he's looking to clear his name, or help us all find truth in the situation, because we want to know where
we want to clear everybody so we can get closer.
Yeah. We want to know where to look. And if this story about him being at work at 5:15 can be proven through time cards, that's great. And if not, then, it doesn't mean anything necessarily, but at least it helps people know where to look, because the whole community wants this solved. And the more facts and truth we can get out there, the better for everyone to get closer to that truth. So,
John
Q says their alibi is very spotty and vague. Yeah, I don't even know if they. Look, it'll always be kind of impossible for Katie to offer any kind of alibi, because she's the one home, other than maybe just what her phone was doing during those hours, as far as geofencing and just time of calls and that kind of stuff. But yeah, Chris's is almost non-existent. Bliss Blessings just became a new member. Thank you so much for Bliss Blessings.
Thank you so much.
But anyway, so that's Silver's on the Sea. Was there anything else from that? He did have a lot from that guy.
We should have saved that video for the end, because we're going to have giggles this whole time.
I like it as a goal, the 1,000 likes thing. I think it's a nice carrot.
Yeah, Pamela.
Except we've already shown it.
But people want to see it again.
Welcome, Bliss Blessings. We appreciate you.
Auntie, was there anything else from the Silvers video that you wanted to mention from that source?
I think the big thing was the fact that he was off those 4 days. That was a big point. And also he said that this person that he talked to pretty much reiterated what the other person he talked to at the work site was. Or I think this may be the third person total that he's talked to. I think he talked to 2 before and 1 this time. And they all said he was not a very likable person. That was something he mentioned, that was a consensus with every person that he talked to, that he was very difficult to like.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that's probably accurate, and that doesn't mean anything necessarily. The main thing it kind of just tells us is that what we've seen is kind of what
the way
we get.
He is. Mm-hmm.
Right? So because sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes people are different off camera or whatever, or in these situations than not. And so maybe it's interesting that way too. It seems like there was one other thing that Silver had. But anyway, check that out. And it's a great channel to subscribe to anyhow. So we're going to get to all the stuff with Seth, but before that, can we do the hidden video?
I think that's also hindsight. I don't have that ready, but could you go ahead and read some things and I'll get it ready real quick?
Sure. Fatal Paper Cut, which is one of my favorite names. Mr. East Crimecast, in my opinion, he was dodgy early, especially due to his reluctance to reveal anything that could have exposed those sealed CPS reports. The custody hearing was coming up, and my opinion, Nina could not know. I think we've all agreed with that. Theory. Also, we have said all along that we believe that the answers to the motives or whatever was going on is hidden in these CPS reports, and that would reveal a lot. I think if we can find out what's in there at some point, I think that will be. We just always thought that the answers lie in there, whether it involves 1, 2, 3 parents or someone outside of the family, whatever was going on, because of the timing of everything. We just felt like it was in there. So I want to do something with this. Some of you may have seen this on Hindsight's video. A lot of folks were sharing it on various Sebastian groups on Facebook. I want to do a little build up to it anyway.
Okay.
If that's okay. But anyway, so I don't know about any of you. I had never seen this Fox and Friends interview. I didn't even know it existed. You didn't know either, did you?
No, I didn't.
Auntie, had you ever seen this Fox and Friends?
No.
So I don't know who grabbed this originally or if Hindsight's just had it, but what a great get by you to have found this, because so this is March 28th. Sebastian's missing February 26th. So kind of give you the timeline of when this is occurring. This is pretty early. So if you're looking for like, the signs of deception and things like that, the earlier you can get to the disappearance, the better, because that's why, like any interviews they do now, if you're trying to sense any kind of deception or whatever, it's very, very difficult, because they've had, if you think that they are being deceptive, then they have had a half year to fine tune their stories. And, they've gone out, they've made a statement, they got the pushback, they can go back and revise and do all those kinds of things. We got one here.
Oh, I was just Lisa pointed out something that was really interesting in that silver thing too.
Yeah, I was actually going to pull it up
yes.
from Melissa. Melissa said that about the coworker.
I forgot about that part, but yeah, that was another thing that the silver guy, his source had, was that
And
at 120
I'll
over.
put this up because she has it worded correctly. I think that what he said.
Yeah, that was big too. So Melissa, thank you and whoever was before.
It was Lisa.
Lisa, thank you for mentioning that. I forgot about this, but a coworker also said that 3 years ago he overheard CP say if he ever unalived someone, they would never find the body.
I thought that was kind of eerily similar to things he had said about Sebastian would never be found.
You know what it is to me too? Like sometimes you hear stuff and you think, I don't know if I believe that or not. That just sounds like the kind of thing he would say, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like just even in conversation, he seems like the kind of guy that would just kind of say stuff like that. So I find that believable.
Another thing, and someone else put that on there, that the coworkers did not know that he was married.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thing.
Yeah.
But they did know about that he had a daughter, but they did not know he had a stepson.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting too.
And Pamela, thank you for this super chat.
And
would you read that real quick?
Sure. Silver's statement towards the end of his video should be bottled and sprinkled all over the world. Yeah, he got a little philosophical the last half of his channel was really good.
It was good.
Can't think of what he was saying last, but I was liking that also. He was,
and thank you so much.
He was talking about he was talking about it. I don't know. Did you listen to the whole thing?
No, because I was too busy working on crazy video clips.
So he kind of gets into just about as a creator, just kind of being yourself, and you just do what you think's right, and you can't worry about the hate and the criticism, and such. But it was in a very it was all in a very good, very positive.
He seems like a very sweet person.
Oh yeah, I totally get it. I understand why people like him, and Auntie's
been lobbying for him for a long time, and I see why. So.
Yes. He at the beginning he was a little kind of all over the place, but he's really got he's really got focus now, and I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I hadn't seen the early stuff he did.
He's doing great. He's got more numbers than us for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean he's doing great. So
and I was really interested in.
Hi Betty, welcome in.
Betty,
I've got something to show you.
The one thing that I thought was interesting too is that body of water. I believe we went by there a couple times, Mrs. E. That is that pond area we saw on the left hand of the
Happy Hollow.
Road.
Happy Hollow.
Yeah, yes. I know exactly which one he's talking about.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah, because it was one of the there were 2 or 3 spots when we were driving back there that stood out, and that was one of them.
That was one of them.
We don't, we have looked and searched a bit, and we don't talk about it. But yeah. So that was one of the areas.
Yeah, but with that you remember that pond area?
Yeah,
that's what he was showing.
Yes,
I didn't realize that's what he was showing.
Yes,
I think it was. That's kind of on the left when you're driving back down.
About 2.5 miles or so from.
Because it wasn't a spot where if you pulled off the road there,
that was about the only place you could pull off.
Yeah, it would be a place you could do that. But it was in the 5-mile radius, so I'm sure I would be very surprised if they did not search that pond in all those initial searches, But it's certainly a reasonable location. It was a spot that stuck out to us, and I think either way, if you ever end up looking at the map of Happy Hollow, it to us strategically looked like the route out if you wanted to be out of the way of the cameras, and get into the country really fast.
Oh, look what Betty said. It keeps jumping on me.
Well, the chat's really busy tonight.
Read it.
Okay, so Bullhorn Betty says, Tony and I went there and got drone footage when I was meeting my attorney on the 9th.
Yes, that road, and then that road is it's definitely an interesting road.
Yeah, we thought that too, because what it is about that road too, why it's a lot of like mansions back there and farms, but they're
far off the road.
Yeah, and they're like a half mile off the road, so it's these real deep, long driveways. So if you did drive back there, you're not getting caught by door cams or anything like that. So that was the most logical place. And then once you get back behind Happy Hollow, you can spider web out into all kinds of different little country roads and be pretty well undetected, and eventually work your way back to the interstate, depending on what kind of premeditation went into it and how familiar they were with the area. That was a spot that we thought if I were going to try to drive out of there without somebody seeing me, that's the route I would have taken.
And there's really no place for cameras there at all.
That's what Betty said. Very interesting, beautiful houses, but no cameras.
Yes.
Okay, you guys, we've got about 204 more likes until Betty gets to see the video she missed. And Betty, I'm telling you, you're going to want to stick around for this.
Yeah, so you'll have a laugh out of this one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I forgot to mention. So how did we get into that topic? Oh, we were talking about silver.
Yes.
And
silver.
Yes, and I just mentioned that part I thought was really interesting.
But let's get into this Fox and Friends, because this is new, and we thought when you thought you had seen every video.
I know
repeatedly.
Bullhorn Betty, I don't know if you've seen this one either.
She probably has.
Maybe you've seen it as of today, but I had never seen this before. I don't know. I mean, I can. I just don't know how this escaped our attention, but somehow we just hadn't seen it. But what I thought I would do, if you didn't know, on my birthday this summer, the kids and everybody got me the deception deck, the deception deck. And so I thought it might be interesting since it's been a very long time since we had a chance to really kind of evaluate a new interview by the Proudfoots. And this
Hi, Rogue. We're happy you're here.
Hi, Rogue. Thank you very much. We didn't say.
Well, we've been all over the place tonight, y'all. The giggles kind of threw me off. I'm not doing right.
So I thought I would use the deception deck, and I went through, listened to it a few times, and pulled the cards that I thought related. Here, I'm not, of course, not a professional expert. I just have the cards, but there were some that definitely stuck out to me.
Show them to the camera a little better. Go closer. Your camera's up here.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at the screen, but yeah. So that gives away.
Spotting
hoaxes is one of them. So let's pause after Katie gives her first answer.
Okay. So this is the Fox and Friends is what you want.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to start.
So this morning, the search for a missing autistic teen gone for more than a month now. Growing frantic. 15-year-old Seth Rogers has not been seen.
It is?
It's like that anyway.
Barefoot with a flashlight. Joining us now, Sebastian's parents, Katie and Chris Proudfoot. Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. So, Ms. Proudfoot, you put him to bed. You heard some noises in there. You told him to knock it off. You got up the next morning, and you haven't seen him since. Where do you think your son is right now?
Honestly, we don't know where he is. Up to now, we haven't found any substantial evidence to locate where he's been or where he went. That's why we're pleading for help for anyone out there that might know something or see something that could help us find him.
Is that what you want me to stop?
Yeah. So I don't know. Some of you
can understand it. It's got too much of an echo. I think you need to turn it down on your end. Usually when you play the video, the sound has to be off on your end.
What?
You couldn't
I don't think
understand.
so.
You couldn't understand it. It was an echo.
Huh.
okay? So some people are saying they. Could you give us a 1 if you were? I mean, the quality's not great because what somebody's done is they've recorded it off their television,
Right.
so it's not a straight copy. So it's got a little bit of a distant kind of sound to it anyway. But if you could give a 1 if you were able to at least understand the words, and a 2 if you couldn't hear anything at all.
Okay.
Okay, so people can understand it at least. Okay, so everybody was able to understand. So anyway, there were actually multiple in there, but I want to save some of the cards for later.
Okay, go ahead.
And the way, so the very first word she gives is honestly. I'm just gonna read what the deck has here. Liars often use perception qualifiers, which may reflect their insecurity about being believed. Words like honestly, frankly, and truthfully in a statement can suggest deception. And so that's the old honestly card there. So there was that. And then there was also the way she says this and about how liars often speak in the passive voice, like things aren't direct in their speech. I'm just going to read the way they phrase it here. Liars frequently use passive voice to minimize their responsibility. If the subject is missing from a sentence, particularly in cases where the omission results in grammatical awkwardness, it may indicate that the speaker is attempting to evade responsibility. This one actually doesn't quite fit directly, but there was a phrase in here where she says, she talks about how we are pleading with the public to help us.
Mm-hmm.
She's not pleading. She's telling you, it's almost like she's storytelling. She's not pleading with the public. She wants us to believe that she's pleading with the public because she's telling us what she's doing. She's not actually doing it. She's not saying to the camera or people in this moment, I just need people to help find my son. We're going to try to organize a search. Please call this number, do this kind of thing. She's just telling you in that sentence what she would like to do. There's sort of like this outside kind of approach. So what did they call it?
Oh, it said she never pleaded. Hatter's Madness said she never pleaded.
Right. She didn't plead. I've never really heard pleading. It's barely spoken of. When they ask for help, it's usually prodded by a question before. And also kind of give you an idea where we are with this interview happened. This is 2 weeks after the flashlight video. So they had been on this kind of like public image rehab tour for about a week and a half or so, but it's still pretty early on. So their stories, they've kind of got worked out. They had starting to tighten up the details a bit. So, but anyway, I thought those couple of items stuck out in that first sentence. So let's play and then stop again after
real quick before we go. Thank you for becoming a member, Ginger Bell. I'm going to play all that at the end here in a little bit. And Eve Loves God says, yay, 1 month. Time flies when you're having fun. Well, we appreciate you, Eve Loves God.
Good to see you, Eve Loves God. Thank you very much.
Did you see the super chat I had up?
I don't know.
Is it this one?
Oh, I didn't. Nicey Marie says, let's keep digging for the truth. Sebastian deserves to be home with Seth. Yeah, and I'm seeing lots of folks in the chat that are saying that they had not seen this before.
Right.
So I'm
again, this is on Hindsight 2002.
Yeah.
Great clip channel.
Absolutely.
And then Ginger Bell,
a great research
again,
channel for sure.
Gifted some more memberships.
Wow, Ginger Bell. Gonna make the trivia much harder for everybody.
Or actually, you know what? The Gingers get me confused. Sorry.
Oh, Ginger Bell.
Ginger Bell and Ginger for
Ob.
Ob. We've got a lot of Gingers, and we love you, Gingers. Thank you, Ginger Bell, for gifting 5 memberships. We appreciate you. And I'm going to do all the yays and everything here a little bit later, so I don't keep interrupting him, so we can keep going.
On this one, let's stop after her next answer again.
Sure. Thank you so much, y'all. We appreciate you. Let's see. You want me to go ahead and play?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try turning it down a bit and see if that helps.
I think they said it was fine.
Okay.
Was Sebastian a runner? Did he have a history of running away from school, running away from home anytime before?
No, he didn't have a history of running.
Mr. Proudfoot, you're
Okay, did everybody hear it? No, he did not have a history of running. So I'm going to bet a lot of you already know what the deception is there. Does anyone know it? No?
Let's see. Well, I got to get down here and catch up.
So past tense.
Oh,
So she spoke.
bad echo, no echo. It's bad sound. Yeah, we already.
Yeah, it does have bad sound, but that's just the quality because they recorded it off of television. But so.
They said they couldn't hear it this time.
Oh, really? Well, you turned the sound down. Maybe that was it. Put it back like it was.
Okay, I'll rewind. Or not rewind. I don't know how to fix this. Let me make sure I don't have it up. Like have our stream up or something.
That's usually when you take something down, it usually fixes it. I don't know what it is, but you fixed it before.
I have
When it echoes.
I
Mhm.
am so out of the loop. Let's try it now. I'll go back just a hair, about a few seconds,
About
Sure.
10 seconds.
about like that.
anytime before.
No, he didn't have a history.
Okay, hold on.
So some people are saying they heard it fine.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and do it again for those who didn't hear it. The question was, okay.
Running away from home anytime before.
No, he didn't have a history of running.
Mr. Proudfoot, you're
So she says no, he did not have a history of running, and so this is when you're referring to someone that's missing in particular. So past tense, murderers often refer to their victims in the past tense, reflecting their knowledge of the victim's death. If a suspect describes a missing person using past tense, it could indicate that the suspect is the killer. And so the famous example that he gives is Susan Smith, where she says, "My children wanted me, they needed me, and now I can't help them." That was he always gives like a little example with the cards also.
Honey, everybody's saying the echo is just terrible. They can't understand it. I don't know how to fix it.
Is
I don't know.
is it that bad when you hear it?
No.
No, I hear it fine.
The louder
Somebody's
it
saying
is,
the
worse.
louder it is, the worse the echo is. It's
Okay.
hard to hear what she
Are
is
you sure?
saying.
Do you have it up in another window, like the stream anywhere?
Some people are just saying just play it.
It was better before.
I mean, it's not great quality.
Oh, okay. Somebody said one of y'all needs to mute. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay, I'm
I bet
muted.
that's it.
I'll mute our microphone and we'll try it that way. Okay. And then you guys can tell us. So you ready?
Yeah.
When do you want me to stop it?
Or you wanting to do?
Do you want to do that one again?
Yeah, people are also saying you could do closed captioning.
Uh,
Got CC right there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll go back to about right here.
Did he have a history of running away from school or running away from home anytime before?
No, he didn't have a history of running.
Mr. Proudfoot,
Was that better?
Yes,
Okay, so Auntie's saying that's better.
that's much better.
Okay,
good.
perfect now. Okay, sorry guys. You know we're learning our tech as we go. So sorry.
It's not just me. It's not just me.
Okay, well, on that note, while you're talking, I have to go tell little E to go to bed. So you need to.
Oh, I can't do all this with that.
Okay, we'll keep.
So let's finish this and then maybe.
Yeah.
So just after the next answer, I
Okay.
think.
You want? Oh, okay. Did you want to talk? You already talked about that
Mhm.
portion.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I think everybody got that. So it's basically if you refer to someone in the past tense like that, it means that you have possibly knowledge that someone's not around anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Reality Wins got it.
Yeah.
Reality Wins is such a sweet person.
Yeah, and that they know. I'll tell you though that one thing just to
Oh,
keep
hi,
in mind
Nana.
with stuff like this, I think, is that these things alone are not enough. You know, you need lots of indicators.
Mhm.
And I didn't mention that when we did the Angel Turner story a couple of months ago when she was missing, And the mom in those interviews, of course, we knew that the dad and the mom had nothing to do with it, that it was an abduction or a grooming situation, right?
Mhm.
All the evidence pointed that direction. So we knew that the mom was authentic, and you could actually tell in the interviews. But she did sometimes refer to her daughter in the past tense.
Mhm.
And so, but it turned out that her daughter was alive, of course, and she's back safe, and the guy's in jail and all that. So these are not perfect rules. So you can't just have one thing and go, aha, this person did this. You really need several indicators to know that or not know, but to have it growing confidence that there may be a deceptive issue going on. So,
And I think too, if you listen to his question, he asks it in the past tense. He said, "Did he have a history of?"
he did.
Right. And
Running. So
Sharice
I
was
think
actually pointing that out.
Yeah, he did. He
Oh,
did ask
okay,
it that
okay.
way. So,
Great
so
minds.
it could be she was mimicking his past tense and
And that does happen in conversation too.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
That's why you don't put a whole lot of weight on any one thing like that, And this is a short interview. This is only 4 minutes, so there's not a whole lot to dissect from it anyway. But of course, it's all new to us, so we wanted to give us a look since we've looked at so much of the others over and over. All the information we can get, especially from the early within the first month, basically, is great to have.
okay, you want to go with the next section?
Yeah, till after their next answer.
Okay, I'm going to mute it.
You're about, I think, 3 hours away. And then you got the call about what happened and you made your way home. You've agreed to a polygraph. You haven't been ruled as a suspect. What do you make of some of the criticism of some people online, some critics saying that they think that you're involved?
It's their personal opinion. It's sad that people have resorted to this kind of rhetoric and verbiage and harassment, but at the end of the day, it's their opinion. But the truth will come out, and then when it does, everybody will finally have their answers.
Ms. Proudfoot, did your son Sebastian have any?
Yeah, and actually, I didn't have anything from Deception Deck there. I didn't see anything in that particularly that sounded like he was being untruthful or whatever. But it is interesting that he again says he's indicated something like this before, that there would be a time when people learn the truth. And so I don't know if that's if he actually believes that there's something that he knows that has some confidence in, or if it's just,
M. Blanc, I actually said the same thing. I said the same exact thing.
Yes,
because I've been going over that interview for a while. I've been putting together something.
Oh, she does do that, doesn't she?
Yes,
she does. She does the whole, oh, you'll be sorry one day for thinking.
Well, there's actually.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm working on a video.
Yeah, I mean, it's very eerily similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's very similar, and we know. Well, we don't know because she hasn't been convicted yet, but she's facing charges.
Harley Ryder.
Harley Ryder says when he makes a comment like that, it sounds like he 100% knows where Sebastian is. Just tell us, KP.
No kidding.
It does. It does.
It does sound like that.
He had. It is another indicator of deception. Actually, is that he has no. Well, we'll talk about this at the end also.
Okay.
But it will. There's no curiosity. There's a lot of certainty.
Yeah.
He's always got certainty with things.
Okay.
And
you want me to play more?
yeah, well, after the next answer again, I think.
Okay, I'm going to mute it so we don't echo people.
Any friends that you think, did he have a cell phone? Had he made any type of contact?
Not that we know of.
Ms. Proudfoot, you did decide to leave the home and you went to go see your husband, which I said is about 3 hours away. And some people have said that, you have an autistic son who's missing. Why would you leave the home? Can you give us some insight on why?
There are a few reasons. We are posting flyers every direction we can, but at the same time, there were quite a bit of people that were, sending some very threatening and hateful messages to us. They're following us. They're driving past our house all hours of day and night, disturbing the neighborhood. And the neighborhood is very upset, concerned, and people are worried about their safety at this point. So one of the reasons that I did that is in the hopes that if we left for a couple of days, that it might calm that down and give our neighbors a little bit of reprieve as well.
A quick follow-up, Mrs. Proudfoot. His biological father has said that he doesn't believe that he would have been barefoot because of the traumatic experience that he had stepping in a pile of ants. But you think he left barefoot. Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Because all of his
shoes have been accounted for.
Mm-hmm.
As far as now, all of our shoes have been accounted for, mine and my wife's at this point. So, I mean, there is no other answer as to what he would have been wearing at this point.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for joining us on the program. Now, our number one concern is to get Sebastian home back to y'all. We're going to put the number up for anyone that has any information on, if you've seen Sebastian, call 1-800-TBI. That's the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI Find. We'll put up the timeline. If you were in any of these areas, we hope that you'll reach out to the number. Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining our program this morning. All right,
Thank you so much for Sebastian's work.
There's also kind of a nice little timeline that they had there on this segment too for back then, and
it's hard to see though.
It is, but if you screenshot
it, if you go
it,
to Hindsight's video, you can really see it.
Yeah. So, so to me, that one fell under.
And thank you, Hindsight. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you very much for letting us do that. So this, we thought spotting hoaxes.
I can take this down now, so we can.
Sure.
You can see better. Let's see. Whoops! I don't like that.
No, part of that,
I'm going to make you big.
I forgot to grab that card. So actually, there was also a card, and I don't have the deck with me, but there's one about scripting. I can get it. It doesn't. It's okay. I'd have to dig through the whole deck to find the card.
Does it say anything about people interrupting? Because I mean, he really cuts her off in that question, especially.
You know, though, I think that was actually more just because they weren't together and the delay. You know,
maybe, but I mean, it's like he specifically asked her. He said, "Mrs. Proudfoot," and she starts to answer, and then he answers.
And so it was identical.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The scripting, scripting out your when things start to sound the same, like you've rehearsed it, would be the sign of a hoax. And they were saying the exact same thing. Or not a hoax, but a deception. So the final card I was going to use was the spotting hoaxes card.
You're going too fast.
Oh, I'm sorry. Spotting hoaxes.
Okay.
And he's not a sponsor of the show. I'm just showing the
he's
card.
Just a huge fan.
I didn't get a discount on the cards. Nothing like that. Nothing fun. But anyway, the deck's great. So it's useful in a lot.
You did get a discount because you got them as a gift for your birthday.
Oh, I got it I guess.
I guess you paid for them technically.
Yeah, my kids don't earn. So
yeah.
So one of the first things he's got under this card, he's got several different things that might indicate a hoax. One is that does the speaker express certainty about what happened despite limited evidence? So like him being certain that he walked out barefoot. He was certain, but this really kind of applies to a lot of their stories where he's certain that there's going to be answers one day, or that he's certain that he walked out the front door. There's a lot of certainty, even though there's actually a lot of questions that everyone has around that. There's another, and this kind of is just overall reticence. Are they reluctant to present their evidence? Like whatever evidence they might have, are they reluctant to ever present it? And I don't know that they've ever presented any evidence of any kind, like their timesheets or camera footage or anything. I don't remember them ever presenting any evidence.
And because that would be easy to clear up for Chris if he would present something like Seth did.
His boss from work, saying, "Oh no, he was here at 5:15."
And we let him go at this time, and
even that he deflects and he says, well, all of our shoes are accounted for too. I mean, I just thought that was odd. Why throw that in? Other than to say, well, maybe he put on their shoes, but
no, I don't think that's I disagree. I think that that would be a next logical step with no shoes is maybe taking somebody else's.
That had been a question they had gotten before, was like, well, maybe he put on Chris's shoes and left or something like that.
You know,
So that maybe that he was just kind of, he'd heard that question before like that. So maybe he kind of had that prepared answer.
I'm just saying, to be fair, I mean, that would be the next logical thought, is maybe he took someone else's shoes.
Yeah. By this point, he had heard, several questions. He was pretty active on Facebook, and I don't know what interview number this will be, maybe 7 or 8.
I don't know.
Somewhere in that range.
I've been going through them a lot.
Just to let you know, we have 908 likes, so we're getting close to our video.
Yeah, and
actually, K-Mac had a comment and said, "We're so close to our machete party." Oh my gosh, it's going to become a thing, isn't it?
It's not the only one under hoax I want to do here. So there's also emotionality. Is there a mismatch between their displayed emotions and the emotions reported in their account? I don't know. I don't know about that, actually.
Also, John had said something about the shoe stuff. Okay.
John Q says, Chris answers the shoes question, not Katie. He gives the shoe alibi in this segment. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know I'm not sure what that dynamic is and why he feels like he's got to be the one to control. It's not helpful at all for anyone, I don't think, because he's not there. He wasn't there. Katie's the only one that was there. They don't even need him on the panel, right? I mean, it should be Katie always speaking. She's the last one to see him. She's the one with all the answers.
Right.
Chris is a secondary character in many ways.
And welcome, Laura. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Laura, for
welcome to the Crime Dogs. I'm going to do a Crime Dog thing for everybody here at the end, just so I don't keep interrupting. But thank you so much. We appreciate you. You'll have fun at trivia. We do prizes.
Is the story unusually vague for the subject matter? Recognizing these signs can aid in discerning whether a story is genuine or a fabricated hoax. And that's throughout all their stories. Lots of things are vague, particularly the really important parts. Like when she finds he's gone, we don't know hardly anything about that period of time. We don't know.
Betty's waiting. Come on, guys. We need 70 more.
I didn't know you'd still be here this late. It's 10 o'clock your time, I think, right? You're running on generator power, maybe still. I think you guys don't have power.
Bless her heart.
I think she did her mom's.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, so hopefully things are improving down there.
It is a mess.
Well, I'm thinking about prayers to everybody that was affected by the hurricane, either one.
Absolutely.
Let's give some prayer hands and well wishes and good thoughts and positive energy for those people, because they're going through a lot. Yeah. And I know it was Auntie was kind of in the path of it too, and it was very scary because our mom is there. So with her, it was scary.
So to kind of conclude that interview there, just want to say we ended up with 6 of the deception deck cards that we played in a 4-minute interview. You might could argue that 1 or 2 of those weren't, but I think at least 4 of those were pretty solid plays with the card there. So that's kind of how the deck is supposed to work. But
we got 50 more.
We got 50 more with that.
We're almost there.
So what does that mean? That means that 400 or so people are rage viewing, or not sure if they like it yet or not.
Well,
and they just, is it that?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Tit for tat. I'm so far behind you all.
So anyway, that's hindsight there, and then let's go ahead and get into the Seth stuff.
Oh, go ahead and
when
read
you're ready.
Tit for tat super chat.
Thank you, Lady Tit for tat. They based their words on whatever backlash they were getting on social media at the time, in my opinion. That's why some answers don't really make sense for this time frame we're in now. Yeah, I mean it's like an incredibly complicated timeline, right? Because there are word things that would be happening on TikTok or happening on Facebook and different platforms, and they're watching and reacting to all of it. They were, Chris was definitely very, in my opinion, definitely, I guess, very much plugged into what's happening out there and watching a lot of it.
I think you ought to respond to that.
Snowflake's nightmare. I'm sure Katie spoke to the police officers. The fact you feel you're entitled and expect her to come and talk to YouTube creators who are absolutely zero beneficial is arrogant. I've never even recommended anybody to talk to us. I told Seth on our left stream that I don't even think it's a good idea. I was telling him that I thought he was better off going on his own channel where he could control his own message. I thought when he opened his own YouTube that was a great idea. So I don't know where you're getting any of that.
Well, they're not a normal viewer. That's why.
I'm sure Katie spoke to. Unless you're responding to somebody in the chat, I don't even think I've doubted that she spoke to police officers, and I don't think I acted entitled. I don't even really want to interview them, to be honest with you. If I probably, I don't even know if we would do it. I would actually recommend
we would at the beginning. We offered it, but
I since kind of learning more about all of this, I'm not sure that I'm interested in doing that.
And I
would probably recommend they go talk to a bigger platform to get the word out for Sebastian.
Absolutely,
That's what.
Right.
If I had a choice, I would say, well, go to Dr. Phil or Dr. Oz. Get out there and really get the word out. Don't mess around with us.
Yeah,
that'd be my advice. That'd be what I would do if I were missing my child. I'd be trying to get the big stuff.
Right.
Everybody that's here, we already know everything about Sebastian. We're just trying to find the truth about what happened to him. We don't need more awareness here. We're very aware of Sebastian.
Right.
It's Joe Schmo all over the country that hasn't ever heard of him. They're the ones that need to reach. They don't need us. So sorry to him. I don't know. Ginger for Ob says, not sure if it's in the deception deck. Got to order one, but Deception Detective has stated that innocent parents don't care who accuses them. They don't pay attention to it.
Yep.
That's a really interesting comment.
Everything he says.
And thank you for the super chat, Ginger.
You know where that is, though? It is on his website. He's got a list of 7 things to look for in an innocent parent. And we went through that one day with both sets of parents. And Seth met like 6 out of the 7 in his first interview. And I think Katie and Chris were like 2 or something like that in their first interview. But that was one of the things. I don't know if that was on that list or not. But that is definitely a thing he has mentioned. And he reviewed Seth and early on in one of I think it was a second roadside interview he did with the news. And after that, he was like, we're not looking at Seth anymore.
And just a reminder, if you're new to our chat, we do ask that you, we don't mind different opinions, but we do ask that you are respectful and kind to each other and to us when you're stating your opinion.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, we ask that you leave. And if you can't do that on your own, we'll help you. So thank you. But again, we don't mind differing opinions. We don't mind.
It's okay. I mean, I just don't. I don't know if that was just a different opinion that Snowflake had. It was just like a total fiction. Just made up a fictional scenario, like a bot or something.
And John had a question.
Sorry.
John had a question.
I'm sorry.
I clicked.
John Q had a question.
John Q, do we know?
I didn't touch it.
Oh, here we are back with this. This is so John Q says, do we know if Chris has a familiar connection?
Familial.
Well, he says it says familiar connection or relationship with anyone at the sheriff's office. I don't know that for certain.
We've never been able to prove that.
Mm-mm.
So
just rumor.
No, that's just one of those things we don't know.
But it's like possibly. I mean, anybody that they've got family ties here. It's one of those kind of towns where lots of families have lived here for generations. So it would be surprising to me, actually, if they didn't know somebody in law enforcement.
They're so excited.
About what?
We've got 7 more. 7 more likes.
7 more likes.
They're so excited.
Let's just do them in order, I guess. Let's do the court TV thing first. Maybe that
4 more.
Well, how far away are we?
Oh, Breezy, welcome.
Oh, we're just 4 away.
We're welcome.
Okay, so we're 2 away from our little celebration. Then we can do the court TV thing.
Okay.
There we
Welcome,
go. We hit it.
Breezy.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Hold on. Welcome, Breezy. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to do the Crime Dogs thing here in a little bit. But, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it real quick. Welcome to the Crime Dogs. I don't have a song or anything, but just welcome. If I can find it. My gosh, I'm so not good at this anymore. I'm gone for a week and I've forgotten how to do everything. Thank you guys, and thank you to all of you that have become members. This is for you. Welcome to the Crime Dogs. We hope you join us for our annual trivia. I think we have a $25 gift card and some really cool items that Lady Tip for Tat donated that we're going to give away.
What I sent you a text.
Let's see.
Well, you gotta.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Gotta play the video. Gotta play the thing.
All right, guys.
You want me to do that?
Okay.
Let's get.
I'll do it. We'll do it too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for getting us to 1,000.
If you're
awesome.
joining us late, this was a little project that Mrs. E put together. I was saying I don't think we should do it,
but apparently you guys love it.
I know, but everybody loves it.
Oh, thank you, Breezy.
So I was going to be the little stick.
Do you want me to do that? Do you want me to do that?
I will play it.
Oh yeah.
No. Do you want me to do what I texted?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. Just want to make sure Bullhorn Betty's still in here.
No, right?
Oh. No,
No.
Don't do that.
That's fine.
All right. Well, anyway, it's over. All right. Betty, are you still here? We got to make sure Bullhorn Betty's still here. All right, here we go.
Also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
I think you need to do it again because it cuts off the beginning of it.
All right, I'll do it again.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, is she here? Did
I
she
don't
see
know.
it?
I don't know if
She may not be able to comment on it.
Yeah, she may be. Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
But man, that is some good stuff.
Oh, come on, everybody. You know we got to 1,000.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
It just fits, right? It just fits. Oh,
that is the best side I've ever seen ever.
It might become like the side-eye meme, like nationwide.
Oh wait,
it would not surprise me.
Well, I actually went ahead and just did a quick one just so we can have it.
Yeah.
Just so we can have
where
it.
You put in Texas.
Whoops. Oh, I started it again. Whoops. No, I pulled. I
Betty
one
did
just,
see it.
Yeah, just like a little meme, right?
Yeah. Did Betty get to see it?
Yes, she did.
I don't know. Well, I'm glad you got to see it. Oh man, that is good. It's the head bob. It's how serious he is when he does that machete.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was going to bring a machete.
He is his own worst enemy with stuff. Sometimes just man, that's funny.
It is.
All right. I'm sure. One more time, and then we'll get busy. I have to go get I'm behind on the children.
Yeah. So then we'll just pull up the court TV and we'll kind of talk about that. And
one more time, one last time. Maybe we'll do it one more time before we end.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Oh,
I'm sorry, y'all. That's just funny stuff.
I think it's gone over well. Okay. I think it's not just us that thought that was funny, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he really said he did not want me to do that.
Yeah, I thought we were because we were going to, and then I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't. But I think it's for the best.
Auntie always gets us to do things we don't want to do.
Yeah, so we kind of
blame it on me.
Well,
no, she really wanted to do it anyway. I'm
not joking. I was watching it. Something made me really sad, and I was crying. And I was like, I've got to cheer up. So I just started playing it over and over and over because I found it really funny. Because you know how much I love Friends. So I played it over and over until I started laughing.
I can't get the chat to come up. But we had a $2 super chat from Lady Tip for Tat, but I can't find it.
Okay, hold on. I got it. And Breezy, thank you. Oh,
yeah, thank you, Breezy.
That's sweet. And then Lady Tit for Seth says,
Is Breezy crushing on the Sandman now just Breezy, or is that somebody else?
I don't know.
Is that a different Breezy?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, because we also had a Breezy crushing on the Sandman, but I don't know if you're the same person or not. I don't think so. So okay, I think it's just a Breezy.
Okay.
Okay, great. I just was because sometimes people change their usernames.
Different Breezy.
Different.
It is a different one. Okay. Cool. Well, welcome
Lady
in,
Tit for
Breezy.
Tat
We
sent us a
appreciate
$2 super chat.
it. Lady Tit, yes, you're right. The little mullet bouncing just kills me. It all just works together. The whole thing, just for a variety of a lot of reasons.
It's just,
I kind of agree with Show Poodle.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah,
we might be show poodles. You might be right.
You might be right.
But we don't.
Women's Warrior. Side Eye Seth merchandise.
Oh wow! Yes. Man.
Breezy says pivot.
Pivot.
Oh, pivot.
You're right. Let's pivot. There's our segue to. Let's get to Court TV because it's already.
I know we're late, and I've got to
hours.
get you started so I can go get the kids to bed.
Right.
I'm behind.
So Auntie will play, and then when she comes, I'll just pause if there's any.
This is also hindsight, so we'll have to mute that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, did you get the two super chats that were the two $10 ones at the top?
I think so.
I think I'm not 100%. I just wanted to make sure.
The lab says Chrissy has fully committed to the Tennessee top hat. He did.
I think that you and the lab should grow out a mullet.
Oh no.
I think.
No, I
Mr. E cannot pull that off. No,
you'd be surprised.
Oh yeah, I had it back in the Def Leopard days.
I didn't say it looked.
Big,
I didn't say it looked good. I just don't think you can pull it off.
It's been. I was like 13 years old or something, but I had it back then when it was the thing.
All right. Yeah. Well, Kelsey says leave it in the 80s, please.
Yes,
all right,
yes,
no kidding.
I agree.
Okay. So this is also going to be hindsight. So hindsight again, thank you so much. And if we could put hindsight stuff in the chat, I'd really appreciate it. Link in the chat. Oh, that's the lab. Okay.
Alicia said, have a great evening, everyone. Apparently we do have to feed our kids every day.
That's really funny.
That's a good
You guys are cracking me up tonight. All right.
Some funny people.
You'll have to mute this once I start it, and you'll have to stop it.
Okay.
Just being clear. Because I'm not going to be here.
Okay.
So we're going to play the Court TV thing. It's going to be, it's 14 minutes long. So you'll have to pause and unmute.
Right. I got you.
You got me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So make sure I got it. Let me share this.
And Real Me Too, we'll put your super chat up in just a minute. Thank you so much.
We'll go ahead and put it up.
Hats off to Mrs. E. I needed something like that.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad.
I
what did Betty say about it? I missed it.
She was doing the laughing.
She was rolling.
Yeah.
Good. All right. It was bad. It's not typical us, but
no, definitely not. But
well, thank you, the Real Me Too. We appreciate you. You're such a wonderful person and a wonderful help.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
All right. It says I'm sharing it, but I don't understand why it's not showing. Oh, here it is. All right. There we go. Okay. And I'll turn my camera off. Well, it doesn't really matter. If I'm
just leave it on because that causes trouble.
All right. So here we go. Ready?
Yes.
And don't forget to mute.
Seth Rogers is with us and the Rogers family spokesperson, Tony Mathis as well. Thank you both for coming here. What's your reaction, Seth and Tony, to what happened today or yesterday in court with Bullhorn Betty? And what are your thoughts about Bullhorn Betty and what she's been doing?
Well, Vinny, first off, thank you for having us tonight. Let me be crystal clear about something. That entire family lied under oath to get those protective orders. This family has spent more time trying to silence people than they've spent looking for Sebastian. We know for a fact that there's no proof that Sebastian walked out of that home. And it makes you wonder what else they're lying about, Vinny. It also makes you wonder what would happen if Sebastian would have been able to file a protective order against his stepfather.
Seth, your reaction to what happened and what is happening in all of this.
My professional opinion, I would say something along the lines of Chris and Katie did something to my son. They're using Sumner County to cover it up and to hide themselves from the actual law.
And let me ask you, Seth, and we have no.
Okay. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, we're good. So I just want to stop there because there are a couple of things that I have been meaning to say, and it kind of sparks memories on all of this. But obviously the crystal clear is a little shot towards Chris, and that's what gets the side eye from Seth in the first place. But he mentions the protective order, needing that for the stepfather, and they're coming out pretty strong already against the family. You know, they're calling that out. This is also, and he mentions, Seth is kind of pointing the finger at Sumner County. He's unhappy with them. He's angry with them, and that kind of thing. And that's his emotions and feelings there. And this is one of those things I know that sometimes he gets criticism for being unhappy with law enforcement and kind of calling them out and being upset and that type of thing. But that is actually another sign of an innocent parent. The innocent parents, when things get drug on in a missing person case, almost always eventually end up in a contentious, not great relationship with the police because they don't know what's happening. The investigation's happening. They can only give them so much. So the parent eventually becomes frustrated. And we saw that happen with Riley Strain, which might have been the model parents in a missing person situation. They acted exactly how you would imagine parents to act. They were immediately in town, billboards everywhere, doing searches, talking to every news crew they could. But towards the end, before Riley's body was discovered, they were starting to criticize the police, wondering if they were doing enough and sharing information. It is just a natural, if you think of yourself in that position, imagine being almost 8 months out and there's no public statement. They won't even clear you, even though you've got a rock solid alibi. There's no indication. You don't know what indication might be out there that any kind of investigations even happening. For all you know, it's just gathering dust on a detective's shelf. They might be very active, but he doesn't know. So you're going to get more and more frustrated. And so it's actually a sign of innocence that he is. Conversely, I don't know if I've ever heard the other side of the family criticize law enforcement in any way. They seem to be completely happy with how everything is going, which would not really be what you would expect at this point, because he's not here.
Month in, right? It's gone on a long time, and there's not been any statement since April. So you would think you would see some frustration on their end for a new statement or new information, or just simply stating that they don't have any new information.
Yeah. So to me, it's a problem. Anything else you wanted to add on any of this part of it that I played?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. I mean,
okay,
it's obvious.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just one of those criticisms you often hear on Seth, and I get it, because nobody wants to see the police get dogged like that and attacked. Most of us, we all support the police. We want them to do a good job. And all of that, but it's natural. Don't be too hard on him for this. He's going through what he's going through, and it's really just kind of natural for that to be occurring. So I'm going to keep this going here.
No independent information. We know that police are saying there's no suspect. No one's been named as a suspect in any of this. But this seems to be, at least from my perspective, Seth, is it a change in the way you are seeing what has transpired through all this? Are you seeing things differently than you did before?
It's the evidence. I still believe my son is alive. I still believe he's somewhere. But the fact is that he was at their house last. There is no evidence that he ever left the house. And they, as Tony has stated, they have spent more money and time trying to get people to not speak about Sebastian than speaking about Sebastian. Sumner County hasn't come out since April with anything, and Katie won't come out and speak, won't ask for help to find Sebastian. I really have to say that she never loved her son. And on top of that, I have the DCS reports that I've written, that I have literally took me an attorney to get them. Sebastian deserves a restraining order from those two psychopaths.
Tony, now you've accused them of lying, the Proudfoots, right? So what were they lying? What were they lying about from your perspective? And again, we have no independent information or confirmation that they said anything that was untrue or verification that what they said was true, like either way. But what were they lying about from your perspective, and what's the evidence from your perspective that they are not telling the truth?
Well, they actually were lying, and it was proven in court that they were lying about what they stated in the protective orders, which was that she had had physical contact with them, that she was following, stalking, and harassing them. And even on the stand, Mr. Proudfoot admitted that he had never met her in person. So in my opinion, it's a little difficult to be stalking somebody that you've never met in person. And it goes to the many inconsistencies that have been told by Mr. Proudfoot since the very first interview. Not one of his interviews have matched up, Vinny.
And when you say the interviews haven't matched up, you're not talking about, so I just want to make this clear to everyone watching. You're talking about the disappearance of Sebastian, not about Bullhorn Betty in this case.
Yeah, the Bullhorn Betty lies were just another long string in the lies that they've told since the beginning. If you go back and break the interviews down from the very first interview they did all the way from Nancy Grace and beyond before they quit coming out in public, you can see one inconsistency after the next. And the great thing about telling the truth, Benny, is when you're doing that, it's always the same. It doesn't change.
Thank you. So I don't know how much you heard before you walked back up here, but a couple of things in there. So also at the beginning of where we were playing that, Seth is saying that his son is alive, and talking to him privately the other day, he does believe that that's a chance, and so, which is actually, and I didn't really plan it to be this way, but this is yet another sign of innocence for Seth, is that the parent, if the child is not alive, the last person to believe they're gone is the parent. They will hold out hope till the very end when everyone else has given up hope. That will be the last person that has completely given up hope. So it's actually another sign of innocence. And he's obviously he's at the angry stage of things right now. He's going, he's pointing the finger at them with these protective order comments and calling them psychopaths and things of that nature. And I think one of the things I feel like happens is we kind of look at it from our perspective and not really look at it from his perspective. So like if you're him, you're innocent, right? Like Seth knows he has nothing to do with it. So what he is perceiving is that the mother and the stepfather are the ones that had him, and they were the last ones to have them, and that she won't work with him or contact or talk to him. I'm not sure they've ever had. I don't think they communicate anymore at all, do they?
I don't think so. I think he actually says that they haven't had. Someone asks him specifically in one of these last interviews, and he said no.
And my perception of things is what I think has happened over that course of time. I think those first few months, Seth didn't know what to think. I think he was like, I don't know, is this a trafficking thing? Did he run away? Was it a grooming thing? Was it like all possibilities were possibilities, I think. So I think at different times he thought, well, maybe it was an overdose. Maybe it was this. And so he kind of went with all these different theories. And then because if you consider what would happen if you were in that place, everything is possible. And you'd want to check every lead, every possibility, right? But as time has gone on, he's had to have seen the behavior of the family. he's seen a lot of this, these, I'm sure he's watched all these Peter Hyatts and deception detectives and all these retired homicide police officers that have, they're all looking in the house. Everybody is. That's a professional. Everybody knows that this is where you start. And with them cutting off contact and the way they've acted, and now, and from his perspective, I know that the world has this idea kind of about what happened with this recent legal battle between Bullhorn Betty and the Proudfoots. But to Seth, this was an attack on him.
Mm-hmm.
This was the person he chose to be his YouTube liaison, basically. This was who he chose to send his messages through and communicate with, and that he was backing, and that's the only one they targeted.
And I think that he was looking at her like she was a warrior for Sebastian, and she was out there doing the legwork and being the voice, and he relied on that. He needed someone in his corner. And I think that's exactly what happened. Is he felt like this is an attack on me, and it very well can be. It could be that is the reason that they went after her so hard. We do know that they all felt that she was being harassing, and we feel like that's not the case. You can't harass someone you've never seen.
Well, and I think if I were him, that's how I would, whether it's even true or not, whether that's true or not, that's how I would feel. I would feel that, okay, so you've cut off communication with me. You won't help me with searches. You won't work with Tony. You're basically MIA. I don't think Katie's spoken to the press since May, late May, I think. She skipped a whole summer without talking to, they're gone. They're, and then they take away someone that was in his mind out there, helping him with his vigils, helping him with a variety of different searches and different things, and that they want to shut her up is what it seems like in his. This is how I would feel if I were him. So now he's at the phase where it's like, okay, that's how it is. Then the gloves are coming off. I'm going on court TV. And I'm going to lay it out, and I'm going to call you out. I think that's what's going on here. Is that your perception?
Yes. Lady Freedom wants our email. If somebody could do that for me real quick, I'd appreciate it.
So I understand what he's doing, and I don't know.
Also, welcome Trishy818. Welcome to the Crime Docs. We appreciate you.
So I think, and then this is going to get even hotter here as it goes on. About halfway through, it gets pretty. If you haven't seen this, you don't usually see interviews like this. So let's we'll mute here and keep it going, and I'll take the dog because I think she wants me back.
Yes, she does.
So what's the most material inconsistency that you believe has been stated from Chris and or Katie?
Regarding Sebastian?
Absolutely. That's what I care about at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Many inconsistencies told about the phone calls, the time of the phone calls, the bedtimes, what happened after he went to bed. Just, that entire 10 to 12 hour period, many inconsistencies. Also, not rock solid alibis and a lot of time that's unaccounted for. They were also, probably the biggest thing, Benny, is that they told Nancy Grace that they were told by TBI not to take a polygraph. And we found out later from TBI that is 1000% not accurate.
That's a big one. Okay, Tony Mathis, Seth Rogers is going to stay with us. We've got more to talk about. We're going to take you inside the courtroom so you can hear some of the testimony from today, and you'll see Chris Proudfoot on the witness stand. Just want to make it clear, like the First Amendment versus prior restraint of speech is serious business. And the judge made a decision today keeping her away from them, but how far did it go towards what she can say about this?
If you're sitting around Googling how to make money on the
second while this is on.
I know we need to do the thing where you don't have to get the ads. I think it every time and then I forget about it.
I know every time I get an ad, I think that.
I'm going to mute. Are we
Okay, well, I was going to skip all this.
Just kind of
part.
skipping that stuff.
Get back to the interview part.
And I'm going to say this since I think he says it's somewhere here in the, well,
Go ahead.
he might mention this later, but Vinny says that this doesn't mean that Betty has to stop talking about the case. That was Vinny's opinion about it. But I don't know, because like I said, the judge left it murky. But Vinny believed the way everything was read that she can continue to cover the case. She just can't do the things that are specifically laid out in the protection order. But anyway, that was his opinion. But again, this goes back to that day where the Proudfoot's attorney stood up and asked, can she still make her videos? And he wouldn't answer the question. And so what
he said is that they're no longer in each other's worlds.
Yeah, but it didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
Making a video doesn't make you in their world if you're not contacting them. They don't have to watch the videos, right?
Right. I mean, and they don't have to watch the video.
Everybody in the room knew exactly what that attorney was asking, and so did the judge, but he refused to answer the question for whatever reason he had. And anyway, it's a disservice actually to both sides, because now Betty has to wonder, am I violating my order? And the Proudfoots are sitting at home going, well, she's making a video. Can I make a call, or would that be a false arrest? So both sides are left wondering, and that's not the way the law should be. That's not justice. It should be clear. Everyone should understand where the boundaries are. And anyway, but Vinny's opinion was that she can make the videos.
You ready to go?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
mute.
Sebastian's dad and Tony Mathis. Just a quick clarification. Everyone's watching that. Was she threatening to bring a machete to go after the Proudfoots?
Well, Vinny, you being one of the better investigative reporters in this case, you know that if you take a 4 or 5 second clip out of an hour-long video, you can twist that and turn that into anything you want it to be. When she was talking about the things that she was going to need to be walking through these heavily wooded areas, one of the things that she mentioned she would probably need is a machete. But you don't get to see all that because that doesn't fit the narrative. Does that make sense?
On top of that, if she had stated that she was going to bring a machete, don't you think the felon that made the video for the Proudfoots would have actually clipped that in there? And it wasn't clipped in there. And if you notice, the attorney, that shyster that was sitting there representing the Proudfoots and the Bowersocks, when they asked Chris the question, have you been contacted? They never asked who contacted them, because nobody that is on Betty's team or my team is actually reaching out to speak to these pathetic excuses for parents.
And Vinny, if you actually listen to what was said there in court, the attorney asked the question, have you been contacted by people regarding things that Betty has been saying?
Right.
The people that are contacting Chris are his people. They're not Betty's people. They're contacting Chris saying, this is what Betty said today. This is what she said yesterday. Well, all you've got to do is tell those people, if you don't want to hear it, to quit contacting you. That shouldn't make you afraid of a 5-foot female as a man that has a strong history of being able to deal with females.
So let's refocus now and get back to what this is really about, which is finding your son, Seth. So Sebastian, I'm sorry. Yeah, to find Sebastian. Your relationship with Sebastian's mom seems at this point is completely non-existent. I know early on there was talk about trying to work together, and it seemed like you were trying to come together to do something, but that just doesn't exist. Right. So what is the status of the search for Sebastian? As you sit here tonight, what is going on? Who is doing what, whether it's law enforcement, any private organizations, members of the public, whoever? What is the status of all of that?
We have several different We have over 50 people that are working on this case. Just in investigators, FBI. I mean, been working with the FBI. It's how we got a reward out there. Sumner County, the people that are in charge of Sumner County refuse to connect the dots. So we have to go beyond Sumner County. My son is somewhere, and me personally, I believe Katie knows.
Vinny, you can tell that we're a little bit more uptight tonight than we usually are. But we've watched the antics. We've watched Chris smile and laugh and joke in court when we've got a broken father and Seth that's missing his son. You guys sent a very, very professional, independent camera and photographer to cover this court case, a girl by the name of Athena. We found out after the court case was over that Chris looked at her and winked at her in the middle of the trial.
Was flirting.
We've got a real problem with that when there's a missing child.
He's supposed to be married.
Yeah.
Val's not doing anything anymore.
So let's talk about this now. There's going to be a lot of people watching right now and say, listen, I want to do something. I want to help. What can they do?
A lot of things, Vinny. They can pray. They can continue to spread awareness. They can put flyers up. They can talk about him in a positive way, regardless of which side of the family they support. Because remember, this is about Sebastian. It's not about Seth. It's not about Tony. It's not about Chris and Katie or any of the crazy grandparents. It's not about any of that. This is about Sebastian. And if you are here for Sebastian, your focus should be Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. That's it. Nothing else.
Absolutely.
He's the one missing. Unfortunately, the judge wanted to sit there and offer his condolences for our loss. My son is missing. I understand that judge's child passed away, and that made him emotional in this case. Judgment from the judge should have been blind to begin with. He was emotional, and I'm pretty sure my son is lost. He is alive. He is missing. All right, that judge buried their child.
Seth Rogers.
Sebastian is alive.
We're out of time for tonight, but I appreciate it, and we'll stay in contact. Seth Rogers, Tony Mathis. When we come tonight, Sebastian.
Yeah, so I just didn't want to interrupt any of that because they were kind of going with that, but the gloves are off, right?
Right.
So
I think they're fed up. They're fed up.
Yeah, and I think they had a strategy. They've been doing it for a few months, and I think he ends up saying this on the lab. I think Tony says on the lab.
Are we going to even be able to get to the lab tonight?
I don't know if we will. Honestly, I'm sorry, Josh. We'll still plug the lab again. We could drop the link in the chat. Maybe if you want to just go check it out. We thought we'd have more time, but we kind of got. We just never really know how.
I think the machete took over.
It became the machete to show instead.
Yeah,
that's probably what we should put on the thumbnail. But anyway, so I don't think we're going to be able to get to Josh's, but it's the whole thing's worth watching. We could put the link for his channel if you don't already know it. That'd be great. And
I'm sure they do.
And
we're tiny compared to all these guys.
Yeah, but you just never. I mean, there's so many channels. You never know who hasn't seen one. I mean, I hadn't seen much of this as I watched. I hadn't watched Silver until last week or two ago. It's a great channel. It's
a full-time job, though, just keeping up with all of the YouTubers that have a pretty good following that have new information. It's a full-time job.
It is. And there's some that I'll watch and I'm like, oh, they're really good. And then I'll kind of forget about them. And then I'll see them in my feed somewhere like 2 months later. And so that kind of happens too. Bliss blessings. The hurt in Seth's voice. Big prayers for Seth. Bring Sebastian home.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
Absolutely.
It is really hard.
It's so evident. It's so evident.
Oh, it is. Yes.
SS Butterfly send us a super sticker. We missed it.
Oh, sorry. We missed that, Butterfly.
Thank you so much.
But thank you for that.
In the lab interview, somebody said, yeah, it was good. It was very good.
It's very good. I kind of want to watch the whole thing. Maybe we should just do that on our next stream.
Yeah,
if we do the lab the next time.
we might do that next time.
It was so good, guys.
It was.
And if you get a chance to watch it, I mean, I want to watch it again myself.
But Tony says in there, he says the line, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again. So I think, when Tony came in, he kind of had the strategy of, hey, let's have Seth kind of step back a bit. Let's try to do certain media, not do all the YouTube channels. We'll try to do more like the court TVs and the local news and organize searches and the vigils and things. They had this strategy and try to work initially, of course, try to work with the Proudfoots and for whatever reason that didn't work out. And then, and now we're at this point where now the people that are helping Seth are being threatened with jail sentences and such. And I think he felt like that was a shot across the bow. And so now it's time for a new strategy and whatever they've done to this point, it didn't work because he's not here. So he's right to change it up. Let's try something else.
In John Q's opinion.
In John Q's opinion, Sebastian was going to tell Seth exactly what was going on with KP and CP during the last CPS contact they had in January, probably. That's possible.
And then Harley Ryder, this is kind of funny.
I would be shocked if the CPS reports are not somehow connected to his disappearance. Harley Ryder says if CP steps away from KP, she will bring the law down on him. He's not going anywhere right now. There's no number 6, Chris, until you tell us where Sebastian is. That's funny you say that, Harley, because I was thinking that during the interview. Because if you didn't pick up on what he was saying, I was around when all this happened, but the lady that was working the camera came over and told Tony about that afterward. And Tony's reaction was exactly like that, what he just said. There's a lot of weird stories like this with Chris, right? Like,
yeah, Tony said the muzzle is off.
There's the way he's talked to certain ladies on various interviews on YouTube. There's this situation where, if this is true, with the coworker that he's living in Memphis for weeks and weeks and nobody knows he's got a wife and child.
That was really informative, I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
and the reason he had a daughter, though, he had mentioned the daughter.
Yeah, and I don't mean that it's not interesting in just like a gossipy way. It's interesting in that if they have guilty knowledge together, they are tied together. Like they almost can't leave each other. But if there are cracks in the armor there and they turn on each other because Chris obviously has a history. He's got a pattern of life to not stay with women that he's committed to. It's just the way it is. So if he starts to have that wandering eye again and there's cracks there, who knows what could happen? As long as they are together like this, they likely will not turn on the other. So it's kind of interesting that way.
Mm-hmm. Could one of our mods put the email in? A couple of people are asking for the email.
They did. I saw it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Did you have any other thoughts about the court TV?
I think it's usually they're very restrained in their interviews, and they let it loose on that one. And they like we were talking about with the lab, it's even more so. It's even more comfortable and more informative. But
I thought Vinny trying to kind of corral their anger and when they were basically saying Chris was flirting with the reporter that was there on your all's behalf. I mean, you could tell he did not want to go there. He was trying to rally him back into what can we do to help find Sebastian. But their anger, they're frustrated.
They're justified in their anger.
Yes, they are, and they've got it's like they've just been dumped on, and this was just one more thing. And it really wasn't about Betty, but it's really what she stood for, and that she was helping Seth to kind of organize and get the voice out and share the information. And I think that's what really hit me, was that's what comes across in that interview.
It's like like I was saying earlier, like there might be people out there that are still wondering if Seth is innocent or whatever. Not many anymore, I don't think. I think the vast majority, but there's still some. But again, you got to remember, he knows he's innocent. So if you're in his position, who are you looking at? You're looking at either them and the family, or maybe you're looking at a neighbor, other family members, perhaps. But it's like the odds are very high that it is someone either living in his home or that is very familiar with him as a target. Just
from our odds episode, yeah,
statistically, that's who it is. It's either family or someone very familiar with him, like a teacher or a pastor or something like that, right? And we don't know that he's got a huge circle anyway. It seemed like they're not very connected with people, for whatever that's worth. But that's, and with all of the suspicious behavior, of course he's angry. So if he wants to lash out, and I who knows how we would all act. I know I would eventually reach a phase where I was uncontrollably angry.
Well, and I think he's had restraint for all these months. For 8 months, he's held his tongue and his thoughts on what he thought happened. And I think
I don't know the whole time. I think he kind of.
Well, I think
he had some moments.
Just recently, though, we've heard a whole lot more of what they thought.
Yeah, and I think he's still kind of, he says things that a PR, the PR, if he had a PR firm or whatever working with, they'd be like, no, you shouldn't be. But he's letting it fly, and he feels like he's fighting, and it's he's in a war right now for his child. Mm-hmm. I think that's how I'd feel. I'd feel like it was me against the world, and the few people that are sticking by him that are willing to go to jail for him. He feels tremendous loyalty to them. Mm-hmm. Because it's been hard. I mean, look at the attacks he's taken. The insane attacks he's taken, mm-hmm. and anybody that gets near him, even the charities that get involved, or volunteers, or Tony, or anyone that is people that just go to court are terrified. Mm-hmm. It's just I don't know. It's an unbelievable situation. Fine Summer's Truth says prayers for the truth to be revealed.
Absolutely.
We're getting there, but it has been baby steps, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been one little tiny piece at a time, but we are making progress on it. I try to remind myself of this, that we started out with really a wide range of possibilities, but we have through work and various things that have been revealed, we are getting there. When we started doing this, we really didn't know about the possibility of Seth's involvement or not. And we worked through all that.
We kind of worked through the interviews ourselves.
We talked out all the possible theories, and there really wasn't a logical one that made any sense. And then of course so we got to the point.
We were about 5 episodes in, right?
Yeah.
Where we were like,
let's just put it under the microscope.
Yeah.
And we did that. And then, and so we kind of ruled him out back then. And then everything kind of supported that. And then of course he comes out with the timesheets. Those timesheets are actual real evidence of innocence,
I agree with this.
So we had that. We had the flashlight videos that came out. And now even just recently, we're having things kind of start to trickle out a bit. We're finding out a little bit about possible cracks in or Chris's timeline is starting to form.
I think it would be good though I don't know, if he shared some of his information to kind of clear that up, but I doubt that'll happen.
That won't happen.
He could. I don't know why he couldn't. I mean, if you went to your employer and said, "Hey, look, the whole planet thinks I had something to do with my stepson's disappearance. This would really help me out a lot if I could, get your legal department to, send the timesheets to the police or to the press or however you want to do that."
Irony Rose had a really good comment.
Oh, sorry. You can put it back.
Hang on.
Oh yeah, Joe Petito admitted that he was contacted and told not to go.
Irony Roses first.
Yeah, Irony Rose says they never dreamed in a million years that it would turn out like this. They thought Sebastian would be Houdini and it would be over.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then
it almost did do that.
This is go ahead.
And Lady Freedom's Raw Narrative says Joe Petito admitted that he was contacted and told not to go to support Seth's channel. Right, that he was confirmed by Joe himself. He is a straight shooter and truthful, in my opinion.
And that to me, that was really crazy.
Well, and some people will say that that's not true, but if you go to the day of Gabby's, I guess it was
an anniversary.
The anniversary. Justin on TikTok, which I think he's changed his name to something else, but I think if you type it, you'll still find it. Joe Petito comes on there and says that is in fact what did happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does it on Justin's thing. I remember.
Yeah.
that.
They were
So
threatening the organization.
Justin on TikTok. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Because I was watching it live, and I hardly ever get to catch him live, and I happened to catch him live, and I watched it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that he said that. So
just another insane thing for anyone to do. Why would you not want Joe Petito to be able to promote his organization that's a charity under any circumstances? It's just, I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason. We just don't know what that reason is.
Aw. Well, go ahead and read that one. I got something else to share.
Eileen Mary says, Seth has every right to express his suspicions. The pressures, I can't imagine, pure torture. His son Sebastian disappeared without a trace from mother and stepfather's house.
That's right.
Torture's about right. That is the accurate word for that. That's what it would feel like.
That is so sweet.
Carolyn says, you guys are really taking off. You have come so far in such a short time. So happy for you.
Thank you.
Thank
we had
you.
no idea this is where this was going.
Never would have guessed.
In our wildest dreams.
No, we thought we didn't think we'd have 1,000 subscribers. We really did. We were kind of like, what do you think if we did this amount a week? What do you think would happen? And we were like, well, maybe
after a year or two we get.
Yeah, we thought we might have like 400 or 500 people at this point, because we've seen people do YouTube channels. We know how hard it is, and so we were. This was a passion project for us, because we just if you don't know much about us, if you're kind of new to us, we live in Sumner County, and so
we have a child with autism.
The Proudfoot's home's like 15 minutes away from us, and we have a son with autism. So we got immediately attached to the story, and then as we watched, we kind of watched through media and everything. We were seeing we felt that some of the stories and facts that were out there were, weren't quite accurate, and that there really wasn't a good place to go to just speak openly and theorize about the case without it being people often would have kind of an agenda, like we need to sell this narrative. I have this view, and whatever. There was more like I'm telling you the truth, not let's seek it together kind of atmosphere, which is what we're hoping to have here. I mean, I know we have our opinions, and but the thing is we've been working towards truth, we think. So like I said earlier, we eventually got to a point where we were able to rule out Seth. Another thing we've been able to do throughout this period, and some people still disagree with this on this, because you still hear this opinion fairly frequently, is that he's a runaway. And he's not. We've worked through all this. He did not run away. He either has been abducted and is alive somewhere, or his life has been taken. Those are the only two options left to us, because the FBI does not put out a $50,000 reward for a runaway teen ever in the history of the FBI, and they would not put that on their top 10 list. They clearly have reason to believe that there are multiple people that have guilty knowledge of what happened to Sebastian. And there's other indicators that this has always been a criminal investigation since like the second week or so, at least. And then they, back channel it, kind of admitted it. They're still not doing press conferences, but it's a criminal investigation. So a runaway teen is not a criminal investigation. So anyway, but there's still people that say that think, that he's in, he walked off, he's in the woods, hit and run, all these kinds of theories that you hear, but they're off the table. So that's deductive logic, basically. We may not know what the truth is, but we now know some things that are not the truth. We know not to look at Seth any longer. We know that the runaway teen thing is out, or that he wandered off, anything like that. We know that this is a crime. We just don't know what kind of crime, and we don't know who the people are. So we're getting there. We're getting closer. And I think Dog and his team has some reason to believe there may be movement, because there had to be some reason they cranked up that reward.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but there has to be some reason they're doing that. You don't just make moves for no reason at all. John Q says there may be possible culpable evidence in the CPS reports that Seth has right now. That's what I'm getting from that interview with Seth. Yeah, and that's the main thing we probably would have focused on if we'd had time to get to the lab interview, is that he is essentially saying he's saying that there was some terrible things going on in the home, and he's contemplating just spilling the beans on it all. And there's there's of course some potential criminal ramifications for that. I was thinking about this if I were him. That might be my last resort.
Yeah.
If I thought this thing were dead in the water and not happening, I might be all right. You know what? I don't know what the sentence is if he goes. I haven't looked that up. Might look that up sometime. What kind of jail time you're looking at for releasing a CPS report? But if I thought that might blow this whole thing up and bring some justice for my son, I might be tempted to just say, you know what? Let's do this thing. You go ahead and put me in jail. Go ahead and put me in jail. It's time for you guys to get moving on this case.
Well, and
he would lose his job.
He would, but I'm saying that's why I'm saying it's the last resort. It's the desperation, the Hail Mary.
Though, when you have that information in your hand and you go to the police and say, why was this not considered?
That was,
that's the piece to me, is why has this not, because they have every right to have all that, and they should have gathered that as part of the investigation. So what have they done with that information? And if they have done nothing with that information, why have they not done something with that information?
And this is true. I was there.
He said in Justin's room, if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I remember that too. I do remember that. So let's say it's bad. Okay. Let's say it's bad like we think it is. If that ends up being the case, then see what you could be doing. What you could be doing is you could be charging them with something along the lines of child endangerment, or right? One of those type of crimes, child neglect.
Often what we see in a lot of stuff is how they get.
Yeah.
They'll charge the parents on something else, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the parents. They'll charge people on something else and get them in, and then get them to talk.
Yeah, I know there's another example of this.
I know there is.
This is why sometimes people say that the Summer Wells case should have been solved a long time ago, because that family, and I don't know the Summer Wells case enough to speak with any authority on it. I just haven't spent much time on it. But from my understanding is most people are looking at those two parents also in that disappearance. And because that they have such a criminal nature to them, just in their lifestyle, that it would not be difficult to get them caught up on some other charge, put them in jail, put some pressure, and do detective work, make people make deals and stuff like that. That's why it's my understanding they had the father in jail for something else. Yeah. Already. So it's almost like, that it's just, you got to do police work and stuff like that eventually. But that's the kind of thing you could do here. If there is something about abuse going on in that home in those CPS reports, then you could charge them with that. If it's Chris or Katie or both or whoever it is, you could put a charge, put them in a jail and see what happens.
You could.
And you're not risking the double jeopardy thing, because that's the problem. That's the problem if they go too early for that. If they think that they have abducted or taken the life of their child, you've got double jeopardy. You get one shot at it. And if they do it too soon, then it's messed up. But if you did the child endangerment, neglect, whatever that law would be, you can make somebody make a deal or get talking or scared or something along those lines. And especially if we think that there are multiple people, because I think that there are 3 to 5 people that have guilty knowledge of his disappearance. So you've actually got more people that you could put the squeeze on at some point if you chose to.
That's interesting.
Ginger Girl says, what happened to BHB actually proved the lore lodge theory of how CP and KP uses the courts to abuse people, in my opinion. Yeah, they do like the lawfare. That is common for them.
And then Shirley says, thank you for the super chat. Shirley, we appreciate you.
Shirley Bautista, exactly, Mr. E. I would take the risk for my child. Yeah, it'd be a last resort for me. But if I were You know, I don't know what point. If I were just where like I didn't think anything was happening, and I know Seth has got it to be. He has contact with police. He knows what's going on. He's in contact with FBI. This reward is fairly new. I wouldn't, you know, I don't know what I would do, but I would.
I don't know that.
There might be. I don't know. I don't know what the consequences are. I don't know if you're paying a huge fine. I don't know if you're going to jail. I haven't looked at the ramifications if you get convicted with something like that. But it might be my the Hail Mary. I think it might be mine. Ginger Girl, Mr. E, is it true that the officer who signed off on CP's court ordered anger management as part of Sebastian's
I do not know that.
investigation?
I thought that was the anger management.
I don't know that.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't.
I
I
thought
don't
that
know.
was in.
I thought that was related to his ex-wife Nina.
Well,
Yeah.
but that would
But it still could be because that did happen here. Some of that, happened here. But I thought
some of it
I
happened in
think
New
that-
Mexico. Some happened
right.
here.
I think the parenting classes he had were in New Mexico, but we don't know still what triggered that. Because that Laura Lodge was the first I'd ever heard about that.
yes.
Whatever he found in some court documents. That was the first I'd ever heard of the anger management classes. But and to me, actually, that might be the biggest thing that came out of the whole Laura Lodge thing, because that that set up that whole pattern of behavior, not just in this marriage, but a previous one and other children. So like that's why it's like you have one CPS report. You don't think, I mean, not that that's great, but you may not think a whole lot about one CPS report. It could be just a misunderstanding or somebody over reporting from school or whatever. But when you have multiple over years with other people and such, then
Auntie, I have a question.
there's a pattern, and that anger management class fits that pattern.
Yes.
Or parenting class.
Someone also said that person that did the Nina interview, that it was no longer available. Like it was their channel was down. I did not know that. And they asked if you knew why it might not be there anymore. Do you know anything about that?
I didn't know that channel was down. I'm trying to think of where else I've seen it. Did Laura Lodge play it on his show?
I don't think he played it. He referred to it.
That was on Trev Time.
Yeah, but somebody played it like at double time or like at 1.5 speed or something.
I think there's other people who have it.
Yeah, so I'm sure other. Oh, I think JLR did. Didn't JLR have it?
I believe he showed it. I believe he showed it at the time.
I think JLR did. I don't know if that's still up or not. People pull down some of their lives over time. So
I bet Justin has it. Justin has everything.
Right. Yeah, we should just
ask Justin.
Yeah. Somebody's saying Bubbly Beth says Justin has it. I bet you're right.
Ringy Dingy says it too. Yeah. Sorry, I was working on something else and I missed what was going on in chat. Sorry.
I was looking for. We did have a. Shirley Batista sent us a.
Another one? No, we already said it.
Oh, we did that one. Okay, the last one, the $2.
Yes.
Well, we can do it again.
Yes. You're right. Okay.
Well, I guess do we want to go?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of our friends have already gone live, and we don't want to.
Yeah.
We don't want to cut into them. So
Sure. So check out all of our friends we've been talking to tonight, and we appreciate all the creators coming in. And
somebody
hanging out
said
with
it was
us.
Trevely, and he left and went to talk. I don't know. What that means.
I don't know. Maybe that's a new platform.
Maybe
I don't know.
I don't know. Talk. But thank you to everybody for being here tonight, and thank you to.
I was going to ask them if they want it one more time.
I'm gone now.
Oh, where did you go?
I don't know.
I didn't kick you out.
I wasn't touching anything.
Okay, here. Let's see. Let's get you back in there. Hold on.
Justin and Britt played it. They said. So we will be able to find it at some point. But yes, it was.
There you go. This has been happening lately with StreamYard.
Yeah.
It's been wild. And their prices like tripled. And
wow.
it's insane.
Yeah. Lady Freedom, you're right. That Nina interview, it is terrible.
It's heartbreaking.
It is really hard. It's tough. If you've never heard that,
Yeah, it is.
she's very believable too. So and a lot of the things she alleges in that, I never actually heard Chris dispute. Actually, even some of the really bad stuff. But there's little, not a lot of deception detected in that interview, but it is hard. It's awful. I'm sorry. Yeah, if that all played out the way that seems, that was pretty bad.
Well, all right. Well, I'm going, if you guys want, give me some ones, or actually, you know what? If you want me to play the Machete video one more time before we go, let's put some green hearts in chat for Sebastian. Let's do that.
So spread the word on the new flyer. It's on Dog's account, on his ex account. Get the word and spread that out there, because that the 125,000, it's more than 100,000. The bigger the number, the more attention it gets. And not that, like I've said, I think those rewards are really directed at the people they want to flip. I've always thought that that's what the FBI had in mind, that it was a negotiation tactic, kind of like an opening offer.
Yeah, and I think Leandra maybe is new to us, but she asked how we ruled out Seth and how do we know he didn't run away.
Oh, well,
sure. Well, he's got the alibi, so he's got the he's got the timesheets that he provided.
He's on camera.
That fortunately, are the exact time almost that between Sebastian's last sighting to when he disappeared at 6 a.m. So he's
and also the distance between his work and Hendersonville.
Yeah, and so there was a question where people kept kind of pointing at him, is there was this rumor that got out there that he had taken like this 3-hour break while at work, which of course, for most people, they knew that, that you don't get 3-hour breaks from a jail. You can't, they're not letting you do that. And of course he didn't. So he had the evidence that would the Davidson County's attorney sent it to his attorney. So you had that email. So it's not a forgery or anything. You've got attorneys involved verifying that the authenticity of that. But even before that, the logic of that as a possibility just we worked through, and it really never made sense. He didn't have the motive, he didn't have the means or the opportunity. So we had kind of ruled him out for that, but then we kind of just nailed it home.
Second part of her question.
And then as far as him not being a runaway, there's a variety of reasons, but the if you want the simplest, biggest one, it is that the FBI never offers a $50,000 reward for a runaway teen. So it would all that leaves us with is he either was abducted by someone or his life was taken by someone. And then once you get it down to that, you're basically left with the odds of it being a stranger are astronomically tiny. It just doesn't happen with 15-year-old special needs boys anyway.
Okay.
It's a really small, tiny number. Even if it is a stranger kind of situation, it's like 5 times more likely to be a girl, and younger. And his age, he's not in that demographic where this kind of thing happens often. So it's like a 4 out of 5 chance that it's a family member. And then it's about a 1 out of 5 chance that it's someone that he knows that's not family.
And then also Leandra was also born and raised in New Mexico. DV case, ROPO, the offender will be required to take classes. So that's a good confirmation of that. The next follow-up question is, no, I believe he was at work.
Can I see that one more time? Do you mind?
I can put it up.
I didn't quite finish reading it. I'm sorry.
Hang on.
I see. Also born and raised in Mexico. Any DV case, RPO.
That's good information.
I'll take a screenshot of that.
Yeah.
Any requiring a period.
Protective order.
So if anybody got a restriction,
he would be required to take those classes.
Thank you for.
But I also wanted to go with the follow-up because new people often have these questions.
Leandra says, no, I believe he was at work, but couldn't there be a plan where someone else was involved? Well, I mean, so then you kind of get into who and how would he do this? You've got, if you're going to pay someone, if you ever kind of look at like what hitmen and stuff like that, the going kind of rates, you're usually talking somewhere around $10,000 to $30,000 for crimes of that nature. It's usually kind of in that ballpark. And even at that, they're usually just a sting. It's usually a Fed that ends up, arresting the person trying to hire the person to do something. But let's say he did find somebody willing to do this for that amount of money. He doesn't have that amount of money. He makes around
50-ish.
Yeah, we figure he makes around 50 grand before taxes a year. He just doesn't have the means for that. And then you start getting into other things too, like ask yourself if he were guilty of this, why is he begging the FBI to get involved? Why is he asking for help from the Cold Case Foundation or Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Right.
Or going on all the news stations, starting a YouTube channel to doing vigils, doing searches and all of these things. And I know people will tell you that the searches don't happen.
But we know for a fact
verified the searches happen. So if you have
people on the searches,
you don't have to, believe whatever you want. We verified 2 of them ourselves. I know there's more reported, but we personally have been able to verify
people that were with Seth on the searches
with multiple sources on each. So believe whatever you want, but at least 2 have happened because of Seth that we know of. I mean, that we know of for a fact, I guess I should say. Other ones I've heard about, but I can just verify 2. You don't do all those things if you're guilty. The only theory I'd ever heard that might have had any kind of possibility to it still doesn't make sense, and that's all 3 parents working together. And that doesn't make any sense because Seth would not be blasting his accomplices day after day,
right,
like he's doing, and pointing the finger at them. You wouldn't do that. You'd have solidarity. You'd be working together. So that's it. That's what you're left with. So it's just, unless somebody can come up with a theory outside of any of that I can't imagine, I'm open to them.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. We're open to everything.
It's beyond my imagination and anything feasible I've ever heard out there. So I just,
And Busby had a funny comment that I thought you would enjoy.
Busby's True Crime Network says that would be a lot of union breaks mystery. Yeah. And even the break stuff, he's like a 25, 30-minute drive from their house. You got to imagine, like, he's driving up there. The timing makes no sense. Why would he do it on the day he was working?
When he could have easily done it.
He could have just done it on his day off.
Yeah.
Why would you do it when you were on camera? Why wouldn't
Why make it so complicated? If you had this compulsion to have to do that.
He was going to get visitation with him occasionally.
He was getting custody of him in a few weeks.
Motive makes no sense. He didn't have the money to do it. He has nowhere to keep him. I mean,
there's just a lot.
And then his actions ever since, it's all the actions of an innocent man, all of it, despite what people will tell you. So I don't know.
Alicia Hot Wheels has something funny too.
Alicia Hot Wheels says, other than dinner with Jesus himself, Seth has the most rock solid alibi ever. I know we've talked about this before, like privately, like what would even be a more solid alibi? Like you could be in a space station, maybe if you were like an astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'd be people that would say, oh, they just faked the space station. It's all fake footage or something, right?
Could be.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, can you imagine what it would be like if he didn't have that alibi? I did go listen to a channel that, discusses the opposite opinions. And because I do kind of want to see if there's any.
Absolutely.
I want to see what's there. And, the thing that I've noticed is they never mention his alibi when they discuss it. They never talk about the time cards or that it was impossible. It's just like an ignored fact. Like it just doesn't exist. It's just an inconvenient fact of the narrative. So it literally, they could talk about it for hours. It will never bring up the time cards or his alibi. It's the most important. We have very few facts in the case that we know rock solid positive, and that's one of them. And you can't get around it. And but they just ignore it. They just pretend it doesn't exist.
Aw. Lisa, that's
thank you, Lisa. Mr. and Mrs. E. Mr. and Mrs. and Auntie E, keep doing what you're doing. YouTube needs more unbiased, trustworthy content creators with pure intentions. These qualities set you guys apart.
I don't know. Have you seen the machete video?
You know, there's a lot.
Kidding.
There's a lot out there. You know what I think? I think there's a lot of really good people. I find good people. I found Silver. I didn't know anything about him. He's great. Really good heart. I liked everything he had to say. And we found other good people out there doing stuff. Maybe just the you know,
sorry, I'm reading
some kind of get more attention, you know, or whatever. Do we want to do it and head out?
All right.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
We'll do a couple of the machetes, and then we will go into our closing. And thank you guys so much. Thank you to our new members. Thank you to I think we had another
Kelsey
new member.
says,
Nana Joy, thank you so much for becoming a member. And I promised them that all of our new members, this is for you.
Oh, yeah.
I promised them I would do that.
Oh,
Welcome to our Crime Dogs. And when Auntie gets done with trivia, we will have our trivia competition.
I have it just.
I'm blaming it on her. I have been on vacation.
Oh, I almost meant to say this earlier, but we really do appreciate the support we've gotten from everyone viewing and hanging out with us. It has been so much fun to get to know all of you over time, especially.
Oh, yeah. And we know your personality.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great, and I've loved all the ideas and feedback. It's like there are several things said on every stream we do. A thought that it hadn't occurred to us, and so. But anyway, it's just we very much appreciate that you spend any time with us at all.
They can be anywhere.
Kelsey says, "Have we been right?" There's a million YouTube channels out there, but you choose to spend some time with us, and that's an amazing honor. So we appreciate it so
much.
And we appreciate the creators that came in, and we appreciate new people who were respectful and kind in chat, new subscribers, and of course our members. We appreciate you and our wonderful, wonderful mods. We couldn't do this without you guys. You guys are amazing, and we appreciate you. And so here's some machete for you all, and then we'll go into our closer. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you. We're holding on to hope for you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine our light.